present College Football Today. From Michigan Stadium, the top-ranked Fighting Irish of Notre Dame against the Wolverines of Michigan. And this ABC Sports exclusive brought to you by the Pabst Brewing Company, brewers of Pabst Blue Ribbon Beer, the real taste of beer. And by IBM Office Products Division. Beautiful day today for the 15th game between these two universities, Notre Dame and Michigan. And welcome to our third week of college football here on ABC. Hello again, I'm Keith Jackson, and I think this game has everything. These teams represent two of the finest universities in the nation, backed by loyal legions, and I mean legions, millions of fans. The Irish of Notre Dame ranked #1 in this week's poll against Michigan, the team that most everybody voted #1 in the preseason. Michigan lost 21-14 at Wisconsin last week. Notre Dame won at home 27-9 over LSU. For Bo Schembechler today, this will be his 200th game as a head coach at the college level. For Jerry Faust of Notre Dame, this will be his second game as a head college football coach. Just about as much drama packed into an afternoon of college football as you could possibly hope to have. Last Saturday, we had some major surprises, maybe more today, and we'll check on the early scores in just a moment.
You give a man a couple of days to himself and a black and death.
From ABC Sports New York, Dave Dials and Jim Lampley.
Good afternoon and welcome to our second full week of college football coverage. Last week, this is the way the top 10 looked before a major reshuffling affected by losses for 3 of the top 6 teams. This week, 3 new teams in the top 10. The biggest upset a week ago was, of course, Wisconsin's upset over #1 ranked Michigan at Madison, and Dave Dials has a look back.
Jim, nobody wants to be #1 the first week of the season. Bo Schembechler's like everybody else. Let me be #1 when the season is over. Michigan had every right to expect a victory because the Wolverines had beaten Wisconsin, well, 4 straight times by shutout, 176-0. Wisconsin hadn't won a game against Michigan since 1962, the Vanderkellen years. But win Wisconsin did. And this pass, just cold to John Williams, very simple pass, little screen pass. All it does is go 71 yards in the third period. And Dave McClain's team came up with a 21-14 achievement. And after the game, it was a happy Dave McClain, who used to be a Bo Schembechler protege.
It's the finest victory I've had in my life, I think. You know, I've been a head coach now, starting my 11th year, and we're just real pleased for our whole football program, Marsh, because I think it does do a lot for us. And, of course, we can't rest on our laurels. We've got to forget this tomorrow and start working on UCLA, but we're not going to forget it for this moment.
He doesn't have time to worry about it because they'll be playing UCLA today, and we'll have special bonus coverage and we'll keep you up to date on that contest. You know, Jim, McClain was very happy after the game, but Bo told me, he said, you know, we didn't have any offense, we didn't have any defense, we didn't have any kicking, and frankly, my players didn't get very good coaching. So a lot of intensity today in Notre Dame and Michigan.
Took the pressure off coming into this week a little bit anyway for the Wolverines. We'll be watching 5 other games very closely today. Second-ranked Southern Cal is at Indiana. Lee Corso told Indiana fans he'd have a Rose Bowl team there within 2 years, and he may have one in Southern Cal. 4th-ranked Georgia is at Clemson. That game in the second quarter now. No score. Herschel Walker, 8 carries for 44 yards in the first quarter. Michigan State is at 8th-ranked Ohio State. The Buckeyes are heavily favored in that game. 11th-ranked Alabama at Kentucky, trying to bounce back from last week's upset loss. And preseason All-America linebacker Thomas Boyd of Alabama has been suspended indefinitely for curfew violation. 16th-ranked Florida State at 19th-ranked Nebraska. This begins Murderers Row for Florida State. Still to come on the road in order: Ohio State, Notre Dame, Pittsburgh, and LSU. David?
You know, the 2 places I wouldn't have wanted to have been a football player this week were at Michigan and Alabama. And we're going to be back throughout the day updating you on everything that's going on in college football, and we'll have more from Ann Arbor and a look at Jerry Faust coming up after this.
Outside. The Jerry Faust story has already become one of sport's more remarkable stories. As he moved from Moeller High School in Cincinnati, Ohio, to the pressure-packed head football job at Notre Dame. A year ago today, Jerry Faust had his Moeller team in Toledo, Ohio, to play on this field against Whitmer High School. Moeller won. He remembers it well. Today, 1 year later, Jerry Faust is going to lead his Fighting Irish into Michigan Stadium. We may have a crowd close to 106,000 watching this football game today. Last Saturday, he ran out of the tunnel into Notre Dame Stadium, and yesterday I talked with him about that moment. Tell me about last week when you came running out of that tunnel for that first game in that old stadium.
It's the greatest thrill I've ever been through in my life in sports, and it was just an unbelievable experience. It's very difficult to really tell you how you feel. You have to sort of witness it yourself or go through it yourself, and it's just a great thrill coming out in front of that Notre Dame student body. They're just a tremendous student body, and they really support you on every play. Some places where you play, you know, the student body's involved, but not on every play. But our student body's involved in every play of the game, and it really makes you feel right at home.
I noticed you had the good sense, though, to find your lady when it was done.
Well, my wife's been through a lot over these 17, 18 years as me being a coach, and she was a little bit more nervous on the game than I was, and so after the game, she came down. It's sort of been a tradition for 18 years that we always meet after the game, and I didn't want to change that just because I was coming to college football.
When you come out here tomorrow, as I said, there's going to be 105,000 people looking down the back of your neck.
It doesn't really bother me, to be perfectly honest with you. You know, it's a filled house, and we played in front of a full house last week, and when I was in high school, we played in front of full houses, and it really doesn't bother you. When you're so involved in the game, you know, you really don't really know what's going on around you, and it'll be a lot of fun, though, and I just hope our team in front of national television and in front of 105,000 demonstrates the ability that they have.
Coach, I've been all over this country since you were named the head football coach at Notre Dame, and I'll bet I've been asked 10,000 times, is he for real?
I don't know. You'd have to ask my players. I couldn't answer that. I just love Notre Dame. Always have loved Notre Dame. I really have great respect for the university for what it stands for academically, religiously, and also athletically. And that's why I'm so proud to be a small part of it.
This is the idea behind the IBM.
It seems fair to describe these two players as game breakers. Tony Hunter of Notre Dame, Anthony Carter of Michigan. Hunter is a 6'5", 220-pound junior. He played for Jerry Faust in high school. His first 2 seasons at Notre Dame, he was a wide receiver. But Faust has moved him to wingback this season to involve Hunter more with the offense. Tony is that good. He has size, speed, agility, and sometimes remarkable concentration as a receiver. Anthony Carter, the Michigan flanker, #1, has been defined by Coach Schembechler as the most exciting football player he's ever been around. He's not big, 5'11", 160, but Lordy, can he run? Can he catch? It's virtually impossible to cover him in pass patterns one-on-one. Carter already holds 5 school records and 1 Big Ten conference record. He has 21 career touchdown receptions. All-American as a sophomore, having started every game, 25 of them, since he came to Michigan from his home in Riviera Beach, Florida. Anthony Carter, Tony Hunter, game breakers for the Irish and the Wolverines. That's a brief preview of a college football game that we think has everything. The weather in the low 70s, it's dry. The crowd expected to be of record proportions. So stay tuned as the Michigan Wolverines host the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame.
I'm back to tell you about that remarkable radio station.
I'm Arthur Penhallow on Riff. Just take a look at these lips. This is Ken Calvert with a half-hour commercial-free cruise on Riff. Get it up, Detroit. This is JJ and the Morning Crew on the Riff.
Nothing matters but the weekend.
This is Karen Savelli with another commercial-free Detroit cruise on WRIF.
You've still got a remarkable mouth.
WRIF is still a remarkable radio station.
Baby!
Cleopatra, tonight at 11:45.
ABC Sports presents NCAA College Football. The top-ranked Fighting Irish of Notre Dame against the Wolverines of Michigan. September 20 last season, Notre Dame Stadium, Michigan leading 27-26. Notre Dame place kicker Harry Oliver, last play of the ball game, field goal from 51 yards. And Notre Dame won the ball game 29-27. The second straight year the Irish had beaten Michigan by 2 points, and today Jerry Faust leads the Irish into Michigan Stadium, ranked #1 in the polls, his first trip here against Bo Schembechler, coaching his 200th game today, and he sends out a team looking for redemption. From Ann Arbor, bright and beautiful under the sun as you look down on Michigan Stadium, packed today with more than 100,000 people. And this ABC Sports exclusive is brought to you by Chevrolet, who invites you to see all the good things for 1982 at your local Chevy dealers. Chevy makes good things happen. By Texaco, who also brings you quality automotive products you can trust. And by the Miller Brewing Company, brewers of Miller High Life. If you've got the time, we've got the beer. The Irish of Notre Dame ranked #1 in this third week of the 1981 football season. Michigan ranked number 11 by the AP and 12 by UPI. Before the game, football teams come into the stadium, as you well know, to loosen up. This is what went on when the Fighting Irish were on the field today. Jerry Faust walked and talked to every single player out on the field. Every man wearing the Notre Dame shirt today had a word from his head coach. And now as you look down on this glittering field with more than 100,000 people, the Fighting Irish about to make their entry into Michigan Stadium, and it's the first time Jerry Faust has ever had this thrill. Michigan Wolverines will be coming in a moment, and you will know that through much of the upper Midwest, because this place will truly roar. I'm Keith Jackson along with Coach Frank Broyles, our analyst for today's ball game. And Frank, I guess what we want to talk about are the weeks that these two coaches have had. First, Bo Schembechler, whose team was defeated 21-14.
Well, Keith, we should mention that it wasn't a fluke. Wisconsin just beat them in every way. But it was a tough week for Bo Schembechler. He went to the office early Sunday morning. He got a telephone call. Surprisingly, it was from Woody Hayes. Woody said, "Bo, I only want 30 seconds of your time. You blew it. You worked your team you didn't work your team hard enough." He said you had an experienced team and you just didn't work them hard enough. Secondly, you're going to blow it again because you're going to overwork them this week. He said what they need is confidence. Well, you can make no mistake about it. Bo Schembechler has no tolerance for defeat. He looked at me deadly serious, and he said, "Frank, we've got character. We're going to come back, and we're going to play a great football game. Here's the Michigan team."
Michigan looks loose, and they say they're well prepared. What about Jerry Faust?
Well, last week was kind of a piece of cake for Jerry Faust. Playing in his home stadium against LSU, it was a dream come true for the young man, and everything went right for him, and he didn't have to show the scouts his Michigan a great deal. But realistically, he knows this week is different. This is the test for him, I think, Keith, and I think it's reasonable to assume that he's had some anxious moments, and he's human like the rest of us. We all do. And he's been wondering, I'm sure, if his offense, if his concept of defense, will it stand the test of time? But, you know, the validation of this transition is on his mind, but it's also on the minds of virtually every football fan in America. And I'm firmly convinced we'll know that answer today.
Well, they are two quality teams. Every member of the coaching staff and every player on both teams say they're ready. They have been looking forward to this one for a long time. And as a matter of fact, so have we. So stand by for one of the premier football games of the 1981 college season. We're ready to play football at Michigan Stadium in Ann Arbor. The series record between the two teams, the edge belongs to Michigan. Notre Dame has won the last two by 2 points in each game, 12-10, 29-27. We're ready to go with Anthony Carter, number 1, and Evan Cooper, number 21, going deep to receive the kickoff from Notre Dame's Gary Perk. He will kick with the wind. It sails and floats and bounces to Cooper, and Carter takes it instead out of the end zone. Spins it to the 12 before Bernie Adele brings him down. So let's check the starting lineup for Michigan. Steve Smith opens at quarterback. Stan Edwards, Vic Jr. at fullback. Butch Woolfolk, Trackman is at tailback. And Anthony Carter is the flanker. Vince Bean is the wide receiver, the split end. So we're looking for the first scrimmage play of this afternoon. An indecision on the part of Cooper and Carter. Carter finally took the ball and brought it out to the 12. Not good field position. The Michigan offense was not very productive against the Badgers of Wisconsin last week. Down the line comes Smith on a keeper. Turns it into the open, and he runs it across the 35 to the 39. Before they get him, they'll mark it at the 38. Give Steve Smith, the young quarterback, 26 yards.
Keith, this is the option play, something that you wouldn't expect Bo Schembechler to run on the first play of the ball game, but he needs to give this young man who had a rough Saturday last week some experience, and he comes through, keeping the ball and turning up to the 38-yard line.
If he'd have been a little swifter of foot, he might have gone for 6. He was that clear at one time. First down for the Wolverines, and that woke up this big crowd. Smith gives it off to the tailback, Woolfolk. Across the 45 to the 46 for 8 yards before Mark Zavagnin brings him down. Ed Muransky is a Michigan tackle at 275. Stephon Humphreys, a guard, at 240. Tom Dixon, a center, at 238 pounds. Kurt Becker, 260-pound guard. Bubba Paris, a 270-pound tackle. And the tight end is Norm Betts at 230 pounds. It is second down and 2 with Carter wide to the open side of the field, and Betts goes over there to join him. On second and 2, Woolfolk has the ball. Notre Dame defensive flow very good. Linebackers coming with Joe Gramke, the right tackle, to make the stop short of the first down. Notre Dame defensive line, Griffiths, Bach, Gramke, Kramer, Rudzinski, Crable, Zavagnin, the linebackers. The secondary is Torin, Krim, Dewerson, Bone. This time Anthony Carter on third down and a yard comes to the right side of the field. The ball goes to Woolfolk. He gets away from the man in the backfield. He gets into Notre Dame territory and goes to the Irish 40 for 13 yards and a Michigan first down. Rod Bone, the free safety, the tackle.
Keith, that was a perfect illustration of the speed of Woolfolk. He had nothing inside, and he very wisely broke outside of Norman Betts, the tight end block. There was no Notre Dame people there, and he went in behind a beautiful block by Anthony Carter on the cornerback.
Woolfolk, 6'2", 208, senior out of Westfield, New Jersey, and very, very quick. He had a pretty good day last week with 119 yards in defeat. From the 40 of Notre Dame, first down Michigan. The quarterback Smith keeping on the option. Spins it back into the middle and gets good yardage. Goes down to the Irish 32 for 8 yards. Bob Crable, the middle linebacker, making the stop.
Another option play, something that LSU made yardage against Notre Dame last week. In fact, it was about the only yardage that they made rushing was on the quarterback keep. Smith executed again perfectly.
The Michigan tight ends are the messengers. Betts is out and Craig Dunaway, a junior from Pittsburgh, is in, number 88. Cooper is to the right side, Carter to the top of the picture. The tight end is in motion. Woolfolk, the tailback, with time to read the blocks, goes for the first down and then some. He's inside the 20, down close to the 17. And the Michigan drive is impressive.
Keith, that was a perfect illustration of the pitch sweep. And watch Bob Crable, the All-American, number 43. He thinks that Woolfolk's speed is going to get him to the outside. And then he overruns the play, and Woolfolk very wisely cuts back inside for the big game. Notre Dame should take timeout. Yes, they do.
Time is out for the Irish at 12:09 to play in the first quarter. There is no score in the ball game, but Michigan has the ball. First down at the Notre Dame 17.
Beach closed.
The young sophomore Steve Smith out of Grand Blanc, Michigan, moving his football team with precision. Notre Dame calling the timeout, trying to settle the defensive forces. The entire defensive team went to the sidelines to talk to Faust, while only the quarterback came over to talk to Bo Schembechler. Michigan's ball. First down at the Notre Dame 17. Michigan has gone 71 yards so far on the ground in 6 plays. They are strong to the right side. Now they put Betts, the tight end, in motion and give it away to the fullback, Stan Edwards, and Edwards penetrates to the 14 of Notre Dame.
Keith, what we are seeing is the Michigan offensive line of scrimmage has 3 Big Ten performers returning from last season are dominating the line. The Notre Dame defense are not showing up anywhere, any place so far.
Vince Bean has come out at split end, and Fred Brockington has gone in. He's a bigger man, 6'3", 200 pounds, a senior out of Detroit, and he's wide to the top of the picture. And here's the pitch to Woolfolk. He has an army in front of him, but there's penetration by Zabagnan, the weak side linebacker, a junior out of Evergreen Park, Illinois, and he brings him down sharply along the line of scrimmage.
There's the size of the line of scrimmage that we were talking about for Michigan. Moransky, Becker, and Paris all were Big Ten last season. Going back to the pass play, Notre Dame defense reacted perfectly to the outside and forced Woolfolk to run into the boundary, making it an easy tackle.
Third down and 7 yards to go for Michigan with Carter, who has not yet seen the ball at the top of the screen. Johnny Krim comes over to go one-on-one with him, and Smith rolls it out. He throws it for Carter, but it is way short, and he had some heat from a blitzing strong safety, Dave Dearison.
One of the things that you must do on defense on a passing down close to the goal line is get a good rush, apply some pressure, and that's what happened. Smith had no time to get set and put enough velocity on the ball to get it to Carter.
31-yard field goal attempt now by Ali Haji Sheikh. He was 0 for 2 last week in the Wisconsin game, both of them from between 40 and 49 yards. This one is from 31 yards. The hold is good. The kick is up. The folks in the end zone say good, but the folks wearing the striped shirts say no, it is not good. And so Michigan, after a very impressive march down the field, stalls on the Irish 14, and they come away empty at 11:26 to play in the first quarter. On ABC's bell will be a tailback for Notre Dame. Tim Cagle is your quarterback. Cagle, a senior out of Cincinnati. Played for Jerry Faust at Moeller High School. Now they shifted into an I formation. Turn around and give the ball to the fullback, Larry Moriarty. And this big junior from Santa Barbara, California, gets a couple of yards. Tim Cagle, a look at Tim there. He is 6'4", 205. Moriarty, the fullback, 6'2", 220. Greg Bell, 6 feet, 205 out of Columbus. And Tony Hunter has been moved to wingback at 6'5", 220 with Mike Bushka, your wide receiver, at 6'3", 200 from Wichita. That's Kansas, sir. Second down and 8. Dave Condini now in at a wide spot, comes way wide to the left side out of the picture. And Cagle rolls it back to throw it. Has good protection and gets his pass away. Incomplete, intended for Condini. He had to touch the ball into Dave, and he threw it a little bit too high. Tom Thayer is a tackle for the Irish at 265. Randy Ellis, a guard, at 250. Mark Fisher, the center, weighs in at 245. Mike Shiner on the right side, 270. And the tackle alongside of him, Phil Posterick, 270. And the tight end, Dean Maztak, 240. They're plenty big. Third down and 8 for the Irish from their 22. They're double wide to the left side. Cagle back to throw, gets some pressure, throws a screen pass intended for the fullback, Larry Moriarty, but he had fallen down. He slipped and fell on the artificial surface before the ball was thrown.
And Keith, he had it set up the screen perfectly.
Here's a look at the Michigan defensive people who did their job. They pinned up Notre Dame, held them without a first down. On 4th down and 8 now, the Irish are going to have to punt the football with Blair Keel, the other starting quarterback, as he's referred to, kicking to Brian Carpenter of Michigan. He has the wind at his back. He has a good snap and plenty of time, and he hits a bullet. Carpenter retreats all the way to the 23 and falls down. And oh, is he unhappy because he had some room. 53-yard punt. The Georgia Bulldogs, ranked 4th in the nation, are playing over in Death Valley in South Carolina against old folk Clemson today, and we didn't expect it to be easy, and apparently it is not. Pitlow rolling along. The Panthers opened with a big win over the Illini, and now they're rolling against Cincinnati. North Carolina, another powerhouse team, looks like this year. All right, here comes Michigan on first down from their 24 with the same unit in there. Smith at quarterback with Edwards and Woolfolk behind him. That goes to Butch Woolfolk. Woolfolk getting some heat, but he's a hard man to tackle low. And he is dropped, however, because the Irish pursuit was so good out of the secondary. Dave Dewerson, number 23, getting into the backfield to make the stop.
Look at the figures from last week. You can see why Michigan was soundly defeated. Only 8 first downs to Wisconsin's 23. And total yards, 229, the lowest number for Bo Schembechler in 3 or 4 years.
The Goodyear Blimp America with Captain John Moran from Spring, Texas, and our cameraman Billy Sullivan giving you that picture. Joe Johnson's now in the Irish secondary, number 27. It is second down and about 10.5 yards. Lost a little bit on that play. As Smith rolls it back to throw it. Goes to the sideline for Carter. John Krim cut in front of him and almost scored a touchdown. Johnny Krim, the senior out of Columbus, almost picked that one off.
John Krim is a senior, and he knows how to play this pattern. It's one-on-one. Carter has great speed, and you would think that Krim would be way back off of him. But the ball hangs a little bit, and watch Krim, number 19, come right in front. The ball's going right through his hands. Would have been an interception and maybe a touchdown. Oh, he's disappointed.
It is third down and a little more than 10. Carter again to the top of the picture. Smith back to throw. Better protection this time. Gets it off to Carter to the sideline. Dave Dewerson is right there with him. Number 23. So they're doubling up on Mr. Carter.
They should double up on him because he is such a threat. You have to put one in front of him, number 19, Krim, and watch Dewerson, number 23, the fine junior that's been a starter for 3 years. He's going to come right in. Perfect timing. Look at the break on the ball. Gets his left hand out in front and deflects it incomplete.
And so Michigan will punt now. Don Bracken doing the punting out of Thermopolis, Wyoming. Dave Dewerson is the deep man for the Irish along with Johnny Krim. Not a very good kick by Bracken, who set a school record for punting last year, but he does get a good roll on it. And when it starts rolling on these rugs, it just keeps on rolling, and it rolls inside the 20 dead at the Irish 16. 9:28 to play in the first quarter. No score. 9:28 to go in the first quarter. The Michigan defensive unit, huddling with their coaching staff, now comes onto the field. The football is marked just outside the 15. That punt a moment ago by Bracken traveled about 40 yards, hit the ground, and rolled a good 20. If the Irish had fielded it upfield, they'd be in a lot better shape than they are now.
Keith, it's a tragic mistake. It's inconsistent with percentage football to ever let a punt hit the ground. Cost them 20 yards, as you mentioned.
There's always the fair catch. All right, Cagle sets him in motion with Greg Bell, the tailback, carrying the ball, and knifing across is Keith Bostic to take the legs from under him. Bell is a 6-footer, 205-pound sophomore, had a big day in the spring game. And Phil Carter, who played much of the time last year at the tailback, has been struggling with a pulled hamstring. He's just simply having trouble getting it well. There's the offensive front for the Irish, and you can see they are not small either. The gain was about 6, second down and 4, and Condini goes out of the picture to the wide side of the field. And Cagle pitches the ball to Bell. Bell on a cutback inside tackle. Runs it out for the first down at about the 28-yard line, and the fullback Moriarty laid a solid block for him. Clemson now has stretched it out to 10-0 over the Georgia Bulldogs.
Keith, I think we should mention that Notre Dame is featuring a lot of the Dallas Cowboy offense. What we mean by this is they're lining up in a dead T and shifting to every kind of formation imaginable, giving the defense a lot of problems.
28-yard line, first down Irish. Bushka coming to the left side. Cagle gives it to the fullback Moriarty. Runs over the left side behind Ellison Thayer and picks up about 4 yards.
In talking to both coaches yesterday, Bo Schembechler said, Frank, we will move the ball on the ground. Jerry Fowles told me, said, Frank, we firmly believe in moving the ball on the ground first. We can see a lot of that, expect a lot of that today.
One little note, Tony Hunter, who has been moved to the wingback, is yet to see the football. He will. Clock running at 8 minutes to go in the first quarter. This time Mike Favorite is the man that comes way wide out of the picture. And here's the ball to Bell. And Bell is out to the 39 for another Notre Dame first down before inside linebacker Mike Moran, number 40, brings him down for Michigan.
This year, Notre Dame is playing Tony Hunter as a wingback into the backfield where he has to block, run the football, and also can be a valuable pass receiver. And their thinking is to get him on pass routes against the linebacker and the strong safety instead of the cornerback.
Let's call it the 40. It's closer to the 40. They move around a lot. Hunter is now way wide. But Cagle stays with the ground game that's starting to work. Except this time the Michigan defense slams the door on Greg Bell. The interior people, particularly Boren and Gergash, make the tackle. Watch number 40.
Now, Milo Boren is starting for the first time this year. He learns how to fill the hole. Linebackers try to avoid the blockers, which he did, and then comes in and makes the tackle. One coaching point for linebackers: don't take on the blocker, dodge him and make the play. Boren did that.
Second down and 8 from the 42. Back to throw it. Michigan secondary retreating with it. Pass over the middle, and the pass is complete. Down to the Michigan 32, where the big tight end Dean Maztak controls it. Pick up 27 yards.
One of the toughest passes to throw in college football is over the linebacker's head with enough velocity to come down in the receiver's hands before the safety man can get there. Here we see perfect illustration as Cagle throws the ball to big tall Maztak as he jumps up and pulls it down for another first down.
Now it's the Irish turn to move the ball from the 32. Here's Hunter. The wingback reversing in misdirection, going to the right side, but Robert Thompson, outside linebacker, read it well, and the big junior from Blue Island, Illinois, brought him down after a short gain.
One of the axioms of coaching is get your best football player the ball as often as you can. And you can look at last year, Hunter only handled the ball 28 times in 12 games, and he handled it 13 times last week alone.
Second down, short 7. Ball is at the Michigan 28. Fullback Moriarty, right up the gut. Inside the 20, first down Notre Dame at the Michigan 18.
Larry Moriarty is a real story, Keith. The young man's grandfather played for Knute Rockne, and he's on the second junior college transfer that Notre Dame has ever taken. But the fact that his brother played here, his grandfather played for Knute Rockne, he is here as Irish, and he's from California.
First down Irish, Michigan 18. It's out of the tailback this time for Tony Hunter as he had shifted back into that position. Picks up a couple of yards, maybe 3, before they tumble him out of bounds. Young man who was one of the fullbacks for the Irish last year, Pete Buchanan, was moved to the tight end position where he backs up Dean Maztak. Big fella, 6'3", 230. They have John Sweeney working with Moriarty at the fullback position, plus the big freshman Mark Brooks, who came to Notre Dame from Moeller in Cincinnati. This is the 10th play in the Notre Dame possession. Cagle back on second down. Gets it off to Hunter. Hunter to the 10, to the 5, and out of bounds. Mastak it is, not Hunter. 86 made that catch. So Dean Mastak, the tight end, is very much involved in this offense.
Very much so, but that was a smart play. That was coaching of the quarterback training, because when he was in trouble, the play is supposed to go to the left of the screen. When the receivers are covered, he knows he's got his tight end on a safety valve, and he very wisely and smartly gets the ball to Mastak, and you can see that he's a good runner also, and Notre Dame is threatening.
First down and goal to go at the Michigan 6. First and goal for the Irish. Bell in motion, has the ball. Sweep to the left, cuts it back in, down to the 5, goes to the 4. Keith Bostic, strong safety, out of Ann Arbor. Stayed at home to go to college, made that play.
Keith, one thing we should mention is most interesting is Faust calling the plays very quickly, knowing that in college you only have 25 seconds to put the ball in play, and doing all of this shifting could get you some penalties, but they are operating just perfectly, no penalties. They're getting the plays in very quickly.
They don't give him the 4, they make it on the 5, so he gained 1. Second down and goal to go. It is Hunter. Tony Hunter gets to the 4, and the blue shirts of Michigan bury him, led by Robert Thompson.
You have to give credit to the Michigan defense. They have been so exceptional for many, many years, and they know what it is to be backed up to the goal line, and they dig in and give it the last effort. 2 good defensive plays.
Paul Gergash, number 50, comes out, gets the signal from the sideline, and then sets the defensive alignment. This is the 13th play in this possession for the Irish, who started back on their own 16. Michigan opened the game with a long march, but stalled on the 14, missed the field goal.
Triple wing, Keith, to the right.
Cagle falls down. The referee, Tom Quinn, stopped the play as Cagle came off the snap. He made contact with his knee, and Tom Quinn called it right there. Got tripped up by his own man.
That's too bad. You can see his tripped by the offensive guard, number 74, Mike Shiner, steps back on pass protection and trips Cagle, negating the chance for a touchdown, having to go for the field goal.
Harry Oliver is on the field, and the name Harry Oliver haunts Michigan from what happened a year ago. The final play of the game at South Bend hit a 51-yard field goal to win the game 29-27. He faked it. The pass caught by Tony Hunter, but he falls down, and Notre Dame going for some trickery as Dave Condini on the hold came up throwing, and he threw it too high for Hunter. If the ball had been lower, Tony could have walked in.
Most unusual. Most coaches would feel that consistent football is to take the 3 points. But Jerry Faust wants to go for 7, and you can see he is wide open, but the ball is thrown so highly that Hunter has to falls down catching. Here's the fake. Watch Condini come out and just lob the ball up like you're shooting a basketball, but it's too high for Tony Hunter.
Good idea, but it didn't work. Michigan holds and takes over. First down at their own 4. No score with 3:25 to go in the first quarter. Try to run it out of there with Woolfolk. He gets to the 5.
From the last series and the first play of this series, we have noticed that Notre Dame are now penetrating, trying to get across the line of scrimmage, not catching the blocks as they were on the first series when Michigan moved down and eventually missed the field goal.
They also held the ball for 6 minutes and a second in 14 plays in that last possession. Mike Liebenstein, number 93, Bob Clasby, 91, Tim Marshall, 77, and Tony Belden, 36. Now the defensive front for the Irish. Smith gives the ball off inside, and the play is good for a first down as Stan Edwards put it away, wrapped both arms around it, and just kept ricocheting off people until he crossed the 25 to the 26.
That was excellent blocking, straight ahead play, right up the middle with Tom Dixon and Kurt Becker making the block. Watch the run of former tailback. Look at the hole that he has. Stan Edwards was a tailback, and unselfishly he moved the fullback, but he still rushed for over 900 yards last year.
Oh, he's a good one. Jerry Ingram is now in there, a junior out of Beaver, Pennsylvania, as Edwards comes to the sidelines for a moment. First down for Michigan at the 26. Nets in motion. Give it away to Ingram inside. He's up across the 30 to the 31. Picked up about 4.5. Next Saturday, we'll have regional games for you, starting at 12 Eastern, 1 Central, and 11 Pacific, followed by, over most of these stations, Oklahoma and USC.
They haven't played for a few years, have they, Keith? I guess the 3 or 4 years, but that's quite a rivalry. Goes back some great football games.
It's what is called a helmet buster. Depending on what happens here today, could be that #1 spot in the polls will be up for grabs there next week. Right now, the Irish are sitting on top of the heap. And Smith back to throw it for Michigan. Gets it off over the middle. Had his man wide open. I mean, Craig Dunaway was lonesome, and he missed him.
Smith last week was only 3 for 18. One of the things that Bo Schembechler told me was he was throwing too quickly. He wouldn't wait. He didn't have the patience for his receivers to get open, and that was a perfect example of the problem of last week. Dunaway was wide open. Keith, it wasn't a safety man on the field. He was 3 for 22 for young Steve Smith.
Stan Edwards back in at fullback. He's going to put it up again on 3rd down and 6. Throws to Wolfolk out of the backfield, and Butch won't get the first down. He gets up across the 35, close to the 36. It looks like he's about a half a yard or so short. Mark Savagnan, number 46, the stop for the Irish.
Normally, coaches try to give their young quarterbacks some confidence Keith is a good yard short of a first down by throwing some short passes similar to that last pass to let him complete some what we call confidence builders. But still, young Steve Smith needs to find himself.
Boy, he sure had that tight end open a while ago.
Oh, he was wide open. Wow. I don't know what happened to the Notre Dame safety man, but he's gone over to help on the cornerback.
All right, punting time with Don Bracken in to hit it. Last time with the roll, he got 60 yards. Penalty flag, first one of the ball game. Hangs this kick high and forcing a fair catch call by John Prim back at the 25, 41 yards. But let's see about the penalty. It's the same officials we had last week at Purdue Stanford. Here's Tom Quinn.
Illegal procedure, offense, do not have 7 on the line of scrimmage.
So let's see whether or not the Irish want to take that kick where it was back on the 25, or whether they want them to do it again.
Keith, I would suspect they want them to kick it again because that was a fine punt, forcing the fair catch. He's kicking into a slight wind. I think Notre Dame would make them kick it again.
They will. I'll give you the officials now. The referee, Tom Quinn. Bob Pickens, the umpire. The head linesman, George Sullivan. Ron Winter is the line judge. The field judge is Larry Nimmers, and the back judge is Jim Sherlock.
Keith, the penalty on the kicking game is very uncharacteristic.
Procedure on the kicking team, do not have 7 on the line of scrimmage.
That means that one of the end men on the line of scrimmage was in the backfield. He wasn't up on the ball.
42 seconds to go in the first quarter of play. No score. Both teams have had opportunity. Snap is low, bouncing into the hands. And this time it gets away, and it's going to roll deep again. I'll tell you one thing about Don Bracken. He knows how to get it to roll downfield, doesn't he? 57 yards on that one. Notre Dame's ball at their own 13, no score. Blair Keel has come into the ball game for the first time. The football is sitting back on the Irish 13. You've got a new quarterback and you've got a new tailback. So that's how much confidence Jerry Faust has in the entirety of this squad. They're coming in cold. Carter, of course, the starter a year ago. They work it out of a full house and give it to Tony Hunter. And Hunter is nailed pretty much on the line of scrimmage.
Keith, I think an explanation is order of how Jerry Faust plans to play his quarterbacks. Each quarterback will get 2 series, 2 possessions before he comes out of the ball game, and they will alternate that throughout the ball game, or if a third quarterback should come into the game if necessary.
Well, that's kind of a tricky place to put a Cole Folks in, though, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
13.
It's risky. It's very risky.
Tony got about a half a yard. Call a 2nd down and 9. Now whistle stops it. The quarter is over. So we have no score after 1. Notre Dame now will be working into the wind.
I'm going out to inspect the troops.
Yes, sir.
Regular change today, General?
This is Atari Missile Command. Millions of people are mad for it in thousands of game centers across the country.
Interplanetary war is heck.
Attention all generals. Now you can get your own Atari Missile Command video game and practice saving the world in the privacy of your home. Missile Command, only from Atari.
The Goodyear Blimp America. You can see that Michigan Stadium is located right across the road from a very fine golf course. Right over there behind that round building is the Fritz Chrysler Arena. Second down. Still about 9.5 for the Irish. The ball goes to Tony Hunter. Hunter trying to run it on a sweep to the left side. Gets it out to the 15. And there Mike Boren leads the Blue Shirts to the tackle.
One thing. Boren, number 40, is not too big for a linebacker, but the one thing, the asset that linebackers must have is quickness, quick feet. Watch how he keeps his shoulders parallel to the line of scrimmage. That's good coaching.
I remember one of the great linebackers they ever had here was a fellow named Don Dufek. He wasn't very big either, but he was a holy terror on defense. All right, they keep it on the ground. The gain is out across the 20, up to about the 21. Now let's go to our studios in New York.
Keith Jackson has already told you that Clemson is beating Georgia 10-0 at halftime. In that game, Georgia having trouble with turnovers. Herschel Walker has fumbled twice. One of those fumbles set up a Clemson field goal. The touchdown was set up by an interception. Walker in the game, 15 carries, 56 yards, 2 fumbles at halftime. Keith?
Punting.
4th down and 2.5. Obviously, Notre Dame's going to have to kick it. This time, Blair Keel's going to have to hit it into a win. Big run. Gets it away. Good kick. Fielded. Back at the 37. And down goes the catcher. A 43-yard punt. And Carpenter is shaken up after the hit. But watch the rush.
Michigan was rushing right up the middle, and a couple Wolverines came clean and nearly blocked the kick. To keep the field position has been the story of the first half. Notre Dame started on their own 20, 16, and 13. Michigan's on their own 12, 24, and 5. And coaches know that the average field position can be directly related to their scoring in touchdowns. And there are the statistics, and you can see that Michigan is still dangerously deficient in passing. Only 4 yards.
Ball is at their own 38, first down, no score, second quarter just getting underway. Smith gives the ball off to the tailback, Lawrence Ricks. Ricks is junior out of Barberton, Ohio, and he is that third performer that Frank was talking about a while ago, where they have tremendous firepower coming out of the backfield and those 3 running backs. He picked up 2.
Don't believe any football team has got more balance and with 3 ball carriers like Ricks and Woolfolk and Edwards, 800, 900, and 1,000 yards. Last season.
Oh, just over the 40. Ricks again. This time they reverse it off to Carter. Carter wants to throw it. Can't do it. Ball's knocked loose. Anthony picks it up and gets slammed back on the 28. Coming through there to mess up the play was John Autry and knocked the ball loose.
This was a reverse pass. The split end Beam was downfield, but Carter couldn't get turned and put any velocity on the ball as he's got his, and then he raises it. Watch him raise it. And then, of course, Autry, number 38, strips the ball free, but the good athlete that Carter is, he just turns around, picks it up, and avoids the turnover, but he takes a big loss.
You know what he could have done? He could have run that ball. He had that much room with his quickness. But he didn't. And it's 3rd down and about 22. As Smith drops the throw, he's got his tight end open, but he's got Carter downfield, and he's gone. Michigan leads the game with a first touchdown on a bullet, a bomb to Carter, 71 yards. in the clear, but just the question is whether or not Smith could throw it far enough.
And Smith does have a strong arm, and he was right on the money when he had to be, and that will give him some confidence, Keith.
Haji Sheikh for the extra point. It's good. 12:08 to play in the first half. Timeout, and Michigan on a 71-yard scoring strike. Smith throwing to Anthony Carter. And this comes, ironically, just after a play in which Carter almost lost the ball for Michigan on a reverse pass. But once he gets it, he's gone.
Yes, he is. You can see that Bone, number 26, and Taysom and Torin, number 30, actually get beat on the play. Now, 30 Torin pushes him out of bounds, but he's legal to come back in if he enters the field immediately. But you can see Bone, number 26, was not deep enough, and it's a touchdown. We'll be right back.
There's the numbers on the scoring shot by Michigan, and that's what it was. Remember, they had just lost big yardage. All right, here's your kickoff. Greg Bell is the deep man standing in the end zone. Haji Sheikh knocks it 2 yards deep, but Bell's coming with it. And he gets it out to the 16, maybe the 17, before Jerry Burguy brings him down for Michigan.
Oh, that was excellent coverage by the Michigan kicking team. The ball was kicked high and gave him a chance to get down, but there was no crease for Bell to turn up. Now Notre Dame is backed up with the momentum definitely in Michigan's favor.
Coming up next, ABC's Wide World of Sports, gymnastics, and the Southern 500. Tell you more about that later. Right now we're ready to play football. On first down, Notre Dame with Blair Keel in at quarterback. Turns, pitches the ball back to Phil Carter. And Carter bounces over the 20, close to the 22. Winfred Caraway coming in from a tackle spot to make the play.
Caraway played last week at nose guard, and on Wednesday, Rhodes said to his coaches, we're moving him back to tackle where he played last year and see if that won't help our defense a little bit. Started 4 games last year and started last week at tackle. I mean, nose guard, excuse me.
Second down and 6. Bill is tripped up as he gets it to the 23. Evan Cooper, the free safety, again not too big, and a youngster at that, a sophomore, 5'11", 170.
He was the surprise starter. He is replacing a fine football player of last year who led the team in interceptions. Body. Coaches had confidence in him. They put him in out there.
All right, now on third down and 3, Michigan's put in the nickel defense. They have set Body onto the field, taken out linebacker Gergash. They're expecting pass from the Irish. Don't get it. Go to the tailback Carter, and Carter is close to the first down.
It looked like Carter made it with a second effort. Just dove for the first down. Excellent play on his part.
So Michigan expecting pass, puts in the 5th defensive back. The Irish stay with it. They run it over the left side behind Thayer, Ellis, and got it.
We should mention that Cagle started quarterback, played 2 possessions. Now Keel is at quarterback in his second possession.
Keel has it. He throws it to the short man Hunter, and Tony dropped it. Just flat dropped it. Took his eyes off the ball. Keel hit him right on the hand.
Let's watch it again as Hunter goes out in the flat. He's the short man. Keel looks deep. Deep man is covered. He throws the ball to one of the most gifted athletes in America. He takes his eyes off of it, and it's incomplete when you do. Can't have that.
Tony was looking for room to run. Well, Alabama upset last week by Georgia Tech. Having a little trouble with Kentucky. Second down and 10 for the Irish. Ball at their own 28. Michigan leading 7-0. 10:20 to play in the first half. And it's Carter, a tailback. Oh, did he get a lick? He got yardage. He got it out to the 32, but there he ran into Mr. Paul Gergash, a junior from Lakewood, Ohio. And he laid one on him.
That was an excellent tackle by Gergash. He just put his head right in there and knocked Carter back to his own goal line.
Bill got 3, third down 7. Again, Gergash comes out, Body goes in to give him 5 defensive backs, anticipating pass on 3rd and long. to get it this time. Keel on a deep drop. Getting some heat now. Coles is after him, and they've got him back inside the 25. Cedric Coles, number 92, and Robert Thompson, 99, outside linebackers, filling for a 9-yard loss. And Notre Dame now will have to kick it away.
Let's give much credit to the Michigan defense. Earlier, they were confused a little bit with all the shifting done by the Notre Dame offense, but now they're staying in there and playing like Michigan defenses of the past. And they have always been good. Michigan has, during the decade of the 70s, led the nation in total defense.
Brian Carpenter, the deep man. Lair Keel, the punter. And he's hitting it into a little wind. Wind kind of swirls around in this big old bowl. Snap is good. Kick is away. Good kick. Carpenter at his 36. Oh, look out. He runs into 45 of Notre Dame. And he is brought down. We've got a penalty flag on the field, apparently. Clock stops at 8:46 to go in the first half.
More than 2.5 million fans watched NCAA Division I AA football action last season. Membership has grown to 50 teams in 1981. ABC will cover the title game December 19th from Wichita Falls, Texas.
Here's your penalty. Watch 37 of Michigan. Tony Jackson clip number 50 in white. Kevin Kelly, the center and snapper.
Keith, it was unnecessary. It was a foolish mistake. Jackson never had the blocking angle. He should have just let him make the tackle, and they would have had good field position. Instead, it's going to be moved way back.
Bob Crable, Notre Dame linebacker, to the sidelines. In the meantime, during the timeout, Bo Schembechler taking the time to talk to his people, particularly his quarterback. Number 25, 16 is Smith, the quarterback. Brockington is the wide receiver. Steve Smith's hopes have to be buoyed some by that big shot to Anthony Carter to give Michigan the 7-0 lead. Next Saturday, we'll have regional games for you starting at noon Eastern time, followed by, over most of these stations, Oklahoma and USC from the Coliseum in Los Angeles. We're seeing the best of the bunch early in the season, aren't we? First down for Michigan. The ball is back at the, let's call it the 33. Michigan. And Smith in trouble. Pretty good footwork to get out of trouble. And gets it up to the 35 before Crable, the middle linebacker, just hammers him.
Bob Crable, as most football fans know, was an All-American. He recognizes there's a pass. He starts backpedaling, but watch his reaction, and then watch the hit on Smith, the quarterback. Just a perfect tackle. Shoulder pads right into the numbers, and down Smith went.
That's called leverage.
Very definite leverage. Very definitely.
Second down and 8. 8 minutes to go in the first half. Dunaway goes in motion on an option. Steve Smith, the quarterback, spins it across the 40, gets to the 41. He had to go to the 43 to get his first down, so he's going to be looking at 3rd and 2.
I want to mention again that Smith made some nice gains on the option play in the first quarter. This is the first time that he's run it in the second quarter. And I would mention again that LSU had success against Notre Dame with the quarterback keeping the ball and turning up for nice gains.
Pat Kramer, Tom Bach, Kevin Griffith, and Joe Gramke, the defensive 4 up front for Notre Dame as Michigan sets it up on 3rd and a short 2. And they delay it to the tailback, Lawrence Ricks. Ricks gets over there and runs right into 2 white shirts, and it's stopping time. Durison 23 and Tom Bach 94 with a little help from Mr. Crable.
You're going to find Bo Schembechler's going to grab his quarterback on that play. He had something called on 3rd and 2, and I'll be doggone if Smith didn't change it to a delayed play. Took the ball 7 yards in the backfield to Ricks, and they didn't get back to the line of scrimmage. Young sophomore mistake.
So Bracken's in to punt for Michigan. Krim and Durison deep. They're looking right up into the sun to receive this. If Bracken gets it up in the air, it might be a problem. Bracken's got the wind. He gets it up. Not too high. Sort of a liner. It goes to Krim. And John is down at the 24. That was a 39-yard punt. That was a circumstance where it needed a high hanger, and he couldn't get it up.
Notre Dame again is starting with poor field position. And as I've mentioned, and I think we always remember that coaches feel that field position is directly relates to how many times they can put points on the scoreboard. Poor position, poor chances.
Alabama by 6 over Kentucky at halftime. Greg Bell and Tim Cagle are back in now. Bell at tailback, Cagle at quarterback for the Irish. Michigan leading 7-0. Notre Dame working from its 24. Penalty flags are down, and whistle stop it. Here comes one of those procedure calls that we saw an awful lot of last week, I think. Look at this. Georgia Tech and Florida got a pretty good one going.
Georgia Tech is a surprise football team. That was a great victory for my old alma mater against Alabama last week.
I watched it twice. First time, I wasn't sure I'd seen what I'd seen. The second time, I was sure. They played a fine game.
Bear said it wasn't a fluke. Bill Curry is to be praised and congratulated. Georgia Tech alumnus moved back as head coach last year.
The game they're playing today is down in Gainesville. Rutgers has won again last night. And this is a case of an official picking it up and eating the flag.
I can tell you what happened, Keith. It was a tight end that moved instead of the offensive lineman, and that's what happened. I think he'll explain that. It's legal for the tight end to move as the ball is snapped.
Bo doesn't think so.
Well, I don't blame him. It is unusual to pick up the flag. It takes courage, but that's what good officials do.
If it's right, it's right.
That's correct. 2 wrongs don't make a right.
First down from between the 24 and 25. Inside it goes to the fullback, John Sweeney, into the ball game from Deerfield, Illinois. Big junior, brought down by Doug James, a sophomore out of Louisville, Kentucky for Michigan.
I think the story for Michigan on defense for me is Tony Osborne, who played offense last year, was a senior, couldn't break into the offensive lineup, moved over to defense, and he started to tackle last week, and he's playing nose guard today. He weighs about 260, trying to get an anchor point in the middle of the line.
Second down and 9. Cagle to throw it, has time, goes over the middle with it, Mastek. Contact was made just as the ball passed over his head. It was thrown too high.
An interesting story is Tim Cagle, the quarterback, played for Jerry Faust at Muller High School, was highly sought after, probably recognized as the best high school quarterback in America. And he's played very little at Notre Dame. In fact, was held out last year because of an injury and other things. But this year, Jerry Faust was determined to build his confidence back, and the coaches tell me that he has. He's built his confidence back to where he's a good quarterback.
3rd and 9, Notre Dame from the 26. Straight back, no pressure. Now gets some heat, got a penalty flag. They got him. Back on the 15, Doug James, the play for Michigan. Referee threw that flag. He's the man in the white hat standing back behind the offensive backfield. Holding.
Well, I think that Michigan will refuse the penalty and take the ball on 4th down. I think we should mention that pass protection is the toughest skill to master in football, and particularly on 3rd and 10, Michigan is known for putting on a blitz, and they did successfully on the last play.
James is just going around and around people in the middle.
We have holding against the offense, decline, 4th down.
Heel to punt, Carpenter to receive, time reflected there, 5:40, 2nd quarter. The Wolverines lead it 7-0 on a 71-yard pass and run for a touchdown, Smith to Anthony Carpenter.
Carpenter returned punts for 56 yards last week, 3 of them.
Accepts it back at the 38. Hold closed on Bryan as he brings it back across the 45 to the 46. That was a 46-yard punt. We've got a timeout, 5:31 to go, first half. All right, the Goodyear Blimp America. That stunning picture. We haven't had a crowd count yet. The regular season attendance record is 106-255 here against Ohio State 1979. The collegiate record is 106-555. I believe it was the Rose Bowl. Here comes the count. We're going to be over 105,000, but it won't be a new record.
But they have had over 100,000 people in this stadium for over 35 straight games. 36, I think it is.
Yes, it's a very successful operation, I would
Don
say.
Cannon is terrific athletic director. Let's give him some credit.
Indeed. On the 46 for Michigan Wolverines with the ball. Smith back to throw it. He goes for Carter. Carter's down there. Out of bounds. Incomplete. Dearson was coming across trying to help, but he's just out of bounds.
You can see the speed. And all you can, he's wide open. The ball couldn't get to him. He threw it deep, and Dearson, number 23, comes across. The ball's thrown out of bounds. But you must remember that Carter has the most special kind of football speed that I've seen in a long, long time. It's just faster than you give it credit for being. It's deceiving, even though he runs faster than probably most anybody in America split in.
Just floats.
Yes, it's deceiving. I think that's what fools the defensive backs, Keith.
Very graceful. 2nd and 10. Smith keeps it, spins away from 1, but can't get away from 2. And coming across, Bach for the tackle. Now let's go to New York.
New York highlights at Madison, Wisconsin. UCLA in the white uniforms. It's quarterback Tom Ramsey. A 27-yard scoring pass to tight end Tim Reitman, number 91. The kick is good. UCLA leads 7-0. Back now to Keith Jackson.
The crowd, 105,888. That is the 3rd largest in Michigan football history. 3rd down and 8 now for the Wolverines from their 48. Smith on a deep drop. Too short. He had number 27, Vince Bean, coming back to the ball. I think Vince could have handled it all right, but Smith just threw it poorly.
The ball was thrown into the ground. I think he wanted to keep it low into the outside, which is wise when you're throwing an outside pattern, but he didn't put enough velocity on the ball to hit good 4 yards in front of the receiver. It's an amazing football stadium. Fans of Keith are right on the field, boy. That makes it exciting for the players.
There's no running track around it. They're right there. 4th down, they're punting. Bracken. Dearson, Prim deep. There's your high hanger. Look at that bright sun forcing a fair fetch. And Dearson makes the catch. Ball didn't carry that far, only 27 yards. It'll be Notre Dame's ball up around the 24. ABC Sunday afternoon baseball tomorrow. Cincinnati at Los Angeles. Oakland at Chicago. Check your local listing for the game in your area. And I hope the weather's cooled off some in Los Angeles. It's been very warm the last few days. I got to work tomorrow.
Saturday and Sunday, a weekend man you are, Keith.
4:29 to go in the first half. The Irish have it at the 24, their own. And the handoff goes to Bell. The tailback. Bell just powers over the left side and gets it out close to the 28-29.
That's Jerry Fowles calling the plays very quickly. Gets the substitute into the ball game and in and out of the huddle so they can do their shifting. I know that he's disappointed so far in his offense. I think Michigan defense has pretty much dominated the Notre Dame offense since the first possession.
2nd down, 6. Hunter's wide to the open side of the field. Cagle's got it. Look out. Blindsided. Coming Marion Body. A blitzing corner gets the Irish quarterback back at the 20.
Keith, the reason you can blitz a cornerback against Notre Dame from the top of your picture, you can see it because they're in a tight formation. Only one wide receiver, and that invites the cornerback blitz, and there is Marion Body, untouched, unblocked, coming from the blind side, and Cagle had no chance.
Lost 9, 2nd time. The Irish quarterback has been sacked. Ball is back at the 20. Bushka is wide to the right this time. Penalty flags are down. Cagle's pass is away to the sidelines. Incomplete. The pass was overthrown, intended for Tony Hunter. If that falls against Notre Dame, I'm sure Michigan's going to decline it and accept the ball on the punt. Let's see.
Offside. Offense.
So the Irish will have to kick it.
The Michigan defense stopped them once again. Bo Schembechler says that good defense relates directly to winning football games. He's firmly convinced a great team starts with an outstanding defense.
In the second quarter, the Irish have picked up 1 first down. That's how well the Michigan defense has played.
And the key to it, Keith, is they kept Notre Dame in trouble. They have not let them get any field position.
A fine kick there by Keogh. Carpenter back at his 36. Now, they put him a hole, gets it back to the 45. On a 44-yard punt, we've got another penalty flag.
Looks like a clip on number 94, Herman, the linebacker. He's in the ball game. One thing that coaches say, don't flip. Well, say they go use of the hand.
94 blue. 94 blue on a push.
94 is Herman, the linebacker. Illegal use of the hands, pushing. Only a 5-yard penalty to Keith.
One of the, for those of you watching football these days at the college level, you might enjoy knowing, in case you don't know, when that official holds that palm open, that means push, illegal use of hands, which is 5 yards. If he turns it around and makes a fist, then you've got holding. That's a big one.
Back to the 37-yard line.
On the return, receivers, illegal use of hands. Here, first down.
Keith, isn't that a great picture?
It sure is.
What a football stadium. This stadium was built in 1927. They had some foresight.
A lot of folks I know wish they had that kind of foresight. One group lives down in South Bend, Indiana. They cannot enlarge Notre Dame Stadium. It seats over 59,000. That's Butch Woolfolk, the tailback. And Butch moves it from the 37 out to the 40. Better part of 3 on that carry.
I think we should mention that the absence of passing is Nebraska has jumped out to a 10-0 lead over Florida State. Michigan's absence of passing is too much of a concession against a good football team to have any consistency moving the ball. You need to mix it up.
Oh, sitting on a 7-0 lead, though, and I don't know if he's going to put it up too many times in the short zone.
Not with his defense playing as well as they are.
And I go deep to Carter again. Give that ball to Woolfolk. He's getting some good blocking from Becker on the left side. Gets a block from Carter. Almost gets around the corner. He got the ball up to the 45. Kurt Becker, number 65, had come off, and he just absolutely sealed off that interior pursuit.
Kurt Becker is only 6'6" and weighs 260 pounds. And of all things, he's a pulling guard, and he's all Big Ten and a preseason All-American candidate. Bo Schembechler says he's one of the finest offensive blockers he's ever coached.
Becker, Bubba Paris, and Ed Moransky all sporting crew cuts this year. They cut their hair back to a nub.
Didn't do much for their weight, though.
2 a day. No, they're big fellas. All right, it's Woolfolk again with the ball. This time he is tripped by Crable, number 43, who had gone to the bottom, and he tripped him up, but it looks like Butch is going to have his first down.
That was a good play call there by Smith. He didn't check off. He gave the ball to Woolfolk on the best play they have, right off right tackle behind Paris and Becker, and they got a little bit of movement, enough for the first down. Got to be able to do that to win football games. When you got short yardage, you got to make it.
We're inside 2 minutes to go in the first half. Michigan leading 7-0. They own the ball, first down at their own 48. Smith to throw it, gets it off, pass caught by Carter, and it's down at the Irish 38. Carter was drilled by Johnny Krim, but Anthony was in the air so high and wrapped his body around the ball, and it was well thrown.
Watch Carter. You're going to see one of the finest college football players that I've seen play. Watch him fake to the outside, just enough to get turned to the inside and keep Krim back. But Krim makes a great play. Give him credit. The ball had to be perfect. 2 passes for 84 yards, 42-yard average for Anthony Carter.
And a touchdown. He now has 22 career TDs. Smith's going to put it up again. He's looking for Carter. He had him for a moment, goes to the sidelines and is out of bounds. Pass is incomplete, intended for Brockington. Carter was closed over on the right side, but as he turned it back across the middle, he opened up. By that time, Smith had made up his mind to throw it to Brockington.
Keith, you have mentioned previously how defenses spot you the pass on first down. They are dead and determined to stop the run. Well, Michigan on first down completed on the pass series of first down pass, and they threw on first down again. There's the stats on Steve Smith: 3 for 10 and 3 for 18 last week.
But he's leading 7-0.
That's what counts.
They give it up the middle to Woolfolk, and the high stepper goes inside the 25, close to the 23. Finally, Crable got him. He picked up 15.
Every offense needs a draw play. By draw, we mean fake, pass, and run. And he takes the ball back, and watch Smith continue his fake like a pass. And look at the hole, the opening there by Marinsky and Becker. And look at the high step in Woolfolk.
Dixon had a big block in there, too. The center, he just drove the Notre Dame man right out of the play. First down. Ball near the Irish 23. Smith getting some heat, goes for the corner. Carter's over there. Great play by Krim. Carter got his hands on it, but Johnny Krim stripped it away from him.
John Krim is one of the finest defensive backs you'll see. He's been a 3-year starter. He's a heady performer, and he's got the assignment one-on-one. Believe it or not, watch him play Carter and watch the wrestling and the efforts that both of them make to catch this ball. Watch it. The ball's up in the air. Krim times it perfectly. His big right hand knocks the pass down. Just a sensational play. I don't want to cover Carter one-to-one, Keith.
No, sir. Second down and 10. Smith sets it up, goes over the middle with it. Intercepted by Krim. He deflected it and intercepted it. Another great play by John Krim.
That was a sensational play because one of the toughest things to do is cover Carter across the middle. Watch Krim. He was out of his back pedal, but he had enough quickness to cut. And look at his confidence. He juggles the ball, but he's got enough breeze. Watch him catch that ball.
7-0 Michigan with 37 seconds to play in the first half. The Irish have the ball.
These are America's top gymnasts. Who among them will qualify to compete in the World Championships? Find out next. Plus, the Southern 500 stock car race. ABC's Wide World of Sports is next.
Just 37 ticks remaining on the clock in the first half. Steve Davis with us. He'll be talking to the leading coach when this first half expires. First down for the Irish. The ball is back at their 18. The interception by Krim. They keep it on the ground, stay inside with it with Tony Hunter running out of a full house, getting it up across the 20 to the 21. I'm pretty sure that when Tony went to Notre Dame, he didn't realize that one of these days he was going to be carrying the ball from a tailback position.
No, this is a new position, and I'm surprised they're giving it to him that much with Morarity and Bell and Carter. I would use Hunter more as a blocker and as a quick pass receiver over the linebackers and around the linebacker area.
Second down, long 7, and that's going to be the end of the first half. So we've played 30 minutes of football before better than 105,000 people here in Ann Arbor, and the Michigan Wolverines are leading the Irish of Notre Dame by a score of 7-0. Here is Steve Davis, Coach Bo Schembechler.
Coach, you've got to be happy with the intensity of your football team. A little bit different than last week.
Well, yes, we're playing better football, but I'm disappointed we lost the field goal and the opportunity down here just for the half. Those two, we could have got points on the board there. We'd be looking a lot better in just 7-point lead.
Steve Smith still having a little problem getting his confidence.
Well, I don't think it's his confidence. You know, he's a little uncertain, and but you can tell there's raw talent there. He's eventually going to be a great quarterback.
Thanks, Coach. Who says you're such a mean man? You're not tough at all. We're at halftime. NCAA football, Notre Dame, Michigan will continue after this commercial message and a word about an upcoming show on ABC.
The score at halftime in Ann Arbor is University of Michigan 7 and the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame no score. Fireman's Fund Flashback is brought to you by Fireman's Fund Insurance. And Fireman's Fund Insurance is brought to you by an independent agent near you. Well, his given name is Glenn, but everybody calls him Bo. And when he came out of Miami, Ohio, the cradle of coaches in 1969, he quickly restored Michigan to football prominence. And a long time ago, they quit going around saying, Bo who? In a dozen seasons at Michigan, his teams have been out of the top 10 only once. But Bo's teams bombed in the bowls, 0-7 until they won the Rose Bowl last January. He barks at his players, at officials, at the media, and demands as much of himself as of his players, and early on drove himself to a heart attack. Today he's older, wiser, and some say on the other side of 50, Bo Schembechler's bordering on being mellow.
As far as coaching is concerned, really, I think I enjoy it more nowadays than I did earlier in my career.
Why?
Well, I think probably a little more sure of what I'm doing, and realizing that there's only so much that I can get done, and that I have to be a little better organized. There are only so many hours in a day. We still work the same number of hours, but I think last week, not counting, we're getting more done.
The Badgers hadn't beaten Michigan since '62, hadn't scored a point in the last 4 games until Cole and Williams hooked up on a screen pass. Wisconsin prevailed 21-14. It always bugged Bo that Michigan often lost its last game because he had all winter to brood. Losing the opener was awful too, but left no time to pout. He had to get ready for Notre Dame.
When we were #1 in the nation before we went into the Wisconsin game, our goal was to win the Big Ten championship in the Rose Bowl. Now, we did say, as a third goal, that we would like to win 12 games, one at a time. And we played the first one, and we played miserably. And we were not nearly the team that everybody thought we were.
Here in Ann Arbor, 7-0. Michigan leading Notre Dame. Right now, the Notre Dame band is on the field. Let's enjoy them. And hope nobody gets hurt. Quick organization. Today's Notre Dame-Michigan game is being brought to you by AC Delco, General Motors Corporation, over 50 years of quality automotive replacement components. By the smokeless tobaccos, Skoal, Copenhagen, and Happy Days, enjoyed by millions of guys for tobacco pleasure without smoking. By Anheuser-Busch St. Louis, brewers of Michelob, put a little weekend in your week. And by Owens Corning Fiberglass Corporation, makers of fine fiberglass products for consumers and industry, including pink fiberglass insulation for your home. So the Notre Dame band will make its exit from the stadium. Let us take a moment to tell you more about these two great universities, Notre Dame and Michigan.
Down at Clemson, South Carolina, Georgia is struggling not to become this week's big upset victim. The fourth-ranked Bulldogs, behind 10-0 at halftime, now trail 13-3 with most of the fourth quarter still to go. As I mentioned before, Herschel Walker fumbled twice in the first half. That helped put Georgia in the hole. A total of 6 turnovers in the first half. And with most of the fourth quarter still to go, Clemson, which beat Georgia everywhere but on the scoreboard last year, leads 13-3. David, what's happening to Alabama?
Well, the Tide still doesn't have its offense going, Jimmy, but Peter Kim has kicked 3 field goals, and in the third period now, Bear Bryant's Crimson Tide leading Kentucky by a score of 9-0. Now, Nebraska last week had only 150 yards rushing against Iowa. Well, the Cornhuskers got more than that in the first period, leading Florida State 10-0 with 10:52 to play in the second period. Seibel a field goal, Mason the touchdown. Jim?
We're going to be going back to Michigan and Notre Dame very shortly, but first we want to bring you up to date on the continuing television brouhaha in college football. Yesterday was the deadline for the 61 member schools of the College Football Association to declare whether they plan to participate for the next 4 years in the television agreement between the CFA and NBC. ABC Sports canvassed the 61 universities involved, and with only a few scattered exceptions, they have notified the CFA that they will delay consideration of television contracts until after the NCAA Special Convention meets in St. Louis, December 3rd and 4th. The subject of that special convention, reorganization of Division I to give the big football schools more control of their own affairs. That is one of 2 concerns CFA schools must be taken care of in order for them to continue working within the NCAA. The other is property rights, the contention of the CFA schools that they are entitled to individual control of the rights to televise their football games. Toward a settlement of that issue, 3 CFA schools filed lawsuits against the NCAA this past week. The University of Texas in a state court in Austin, the University of Oklahoma jointly with the University of Georgia in a federal court in Oklahoma City. Both courts have restrained the NCAA from threatening disciplinary action against CFA schools in what the federal judge characterized as, quote, a family dispute. In another development, the Pac-10, whose schools have never been members of the CFA, went on record in a telegram from the president of USC to the president of the NCAA as being in favor of, quote, a special meeting to consider changes in the governance of the association. The bottom line is this. The schools have made it clear they won't make television commitments until after the NCAA has had one more crack at reorganization, a proposal it has voted down on 3 previous occasions. NBC announced today that despite the delay, their offer to the CFA will stand. Now let's go back to Keith Jackson in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
We're at halftime here at Michigan Stadium in Ann Arbor with the Wolverines leading Notre Dame by a score of 7-0. And there were some moments in that first half that were pretty doggone exciting. Frank, let's start out, if we can, with a look at the fake field goal. And when Notre Dame is down there with a very good opportunity to get themselves on the board with 3 points, they go with Condini trying to throw the football to Tony Hunter.
You would ask, why would they pull such a play? You have to believe the scouting report said that Michigan was vulnerable to it. You just wouldn't pull it out of the hat with a kicker like Harry Oliver, who's 18 for 23 last year. You have to know that Michigan was vulnerable to it, and you were willing to take the chance. And it would work if they'd thrown the ball a little bit better.
Just threw it too high, and Tony could not regain his posture and fell down short of the goal line. So they came away empty on that. Anthony Carter is a man that we've talked a great deal about. He doesn't carry the ball or see the ball all that much, but when he does, I mean, you just flat hold your breath if you're on the other side of the fence. And this is the book play on Michigan's touchdown, and here's how it looks when it happens.
Anthony Carter has the speed and the fakes and the deceptive moves to really go deep and catch the football. Here we're going to watch from the end zone. And if you look in the top corner, left corner of your screen, you're going to see number 26, Rod Bone, take 2 fakes. See his shoes? He took 2 fakes to the middle, and when he did, the Anthony Carter got in behind him for this long touchdown bomb and put Michigan ahead.
Play went 71 yards, and it came right after they had tried to work a reverse pass with Carter throwing the ball, and Autry had messed it up for Notre Dame, but they came right back and hit the big one 71 yards. There were several moments, I thought, of individual brilliance in the first half on both sides of the field, but in particular this play by Johnny Krim, a Notre Dame defenseman. And we see Carter isolated, and he's streaking for the end zone, putting some good moves on, but watch the play Krim makes.
coaches realize that defensive backs do not have to match speed with the receiver if they have awareness of knowing where the pass is going to be thrown and get the jump on the play, and that's what John Grimm just did.
So we're at 7-0. What do you think about the second half?
Well, Michigan defense dominated Notre Dame's offense in the second quarter, and that's a turnaround from last week. I think Notre Dame is going to have to put some offense together. They made 2 yards total in the second quarter. They look ineffective passing. They have not put anything really to hang their hat on running. They've got to straighten up and fly right and make some yards.
Well, they're big enough to just play them head up, too, I think. Just take them on.
You think so?
Yeah. All right, we're at 7-0 halftime. Teams are planning the second half. Right now, the Michigan band is entertaining this 105,888 folks. Michigan band. I saw George Cavender last night, who's a long-time Michigan band director here. He's retired, but he's traveling all over the world, enjoying himself now, doing consulting work. But he obviously has left the organization here in very good hands. I would like you to know that an old friend of yours and a man who is one of the most beloved personalities of this part of the country, the voice of the Wolverines for 36 years, Bob Ufer, who is surely one of the most enthusiastic broadcasters I think I've ever heard on radio for, as he puts it, Michigan football. Bob is off the microphone for the first time in 36 years this year, but he vows that he will overcome that which ails him and be back before this season is done. And we certainly wish him well, because he is truly a colorful and great personality here at the University of Michigan. Most of the clouds that marked the horizon early in the hours this morning, when it was quite cool, temperature getting down into the 40s, has gone away now. It's bright and sunny, and here's Hail to the Victor. The football team's ready to play. The band is off the field, and we'll have a half hour of head-hunting football for you in a moment. Both teams are now back. Michigan just coming out of the locker room. Notre Dame came out a few minutes ago and went over in the end zone over here and actually took some snaps and ran off some plays, trying to get their offensive act organized. I'm sure that was the primary thrust of their halftime conversation, and the numbers there at half will tell you why.
Actually, Notre Dame only rushed for 2 yards in the second quarter. Michigan hit the bomb, and let's go down to Steve Davis right now.
Coaches, either the Michigan awesome defense or you've had problems on offense that first half.
Well, Steve, we aren't playing very well yet, and I hope our kids come back the second half. I tell you, we got the greatest kids in the world, and I think they'll come back. They're just super young men, and they work hard. We just haven't had things going our way, and Michigan's been playing great football, and we're going to have to try and stalemate them here.
It just seems like the offense hasn't got the cohesion down. It doesn't seem like that the game plan's been established yet. Do you have that feeling?
Well, we aren't moving the football, if that's what you mean. We got to move the football if we want to win this ball game.
Coach, what'd you tell them at halftime?
Well, we got to play Notre Dame football.
Okay. Keith?
All right, Steve. Wind continues to blow in from the right side as you look at it, from the right side of your television screen. It's just absolutely blowing straight right to left. So whoever has the football working from that end of the field, the right side, is going to have the advantage of the wind. There's a scoring summary. It was Smith to Carter, 71-yard pass run play. The Haji Sheikh's kick was good. He had missed a short field goal of 31 yards, missed that opportunity in the first quarter. So that's where we are, 7-0 at halftime. And Michigan's going to kick it off now with Tony Hunter normally going back there, one of them, but this time he doesn't. It's Greg Bell going back, the deep man, with Jewerson and Prim. So they're not using Hunter on kickoffs at all today. The man who will kick it off for Michigan will be Ali Haji Sheikh from Arlington, Texas. He hammers all the way out of the stadium. Goes in the seats. So the Michigan defense now will see if they can continue to handle the Irish offense. And let's see who comes out at quarterback for Notre Dame to start this second half of play. Cagle started the game, and he's going to start the second half. That means Greg Bell will be the tailback instead of Phil Carter. Phil has had some trouble with hamstring. It's just been nagging him all along. But it looks to me like it might be Carter in there, and it is. Phil Carter is in to start the second half at tailback. Moriarty is the fullback. Here we go. The second half. Michigan leading 7-0. And the ball is given to Phil Carter from the 20 out to about the 23. Here's your offensive unit for Notre Dame as they line up right now. Bushka is the wide receiver, and the wingback is Tony Hunter. Up front, big guys are Thayer, Ellis, Fisher, Shiner, Posderick, and Maztak. I'll show you the Michigan defense in a moment. Second down and 8 from the 22. Michigan showing right now a four-man front as they move around. Now the linebacker on the outside comes up to make it a five-man front, and Cagle, looking to throw it, has to pull it down and run it, and they get him short of the 30 at about the 29. Keith Bostic, the strong safety, number 13, first man to make contact with him. Tony Osmond is playing nose guard and tackle, 254-pound senior. Caraway is a 230-pound junior. Cedric Coles, a 237-pound junior. Linebackers are Robert Thompson, 219. Paul Gergash, a 210-pound junior. Mike Boren, a 217-pound junior. And Ben Needham, a 215-pound senior. Third down and 1 for Notre Dame at their 29. They give it to Carter. Carter can't get it. Carter can't get it as Mike Boren makes another great play, number 40. Boy, he has been so obvious all day in the Michigan defense.
It was a sensational play because he read the play immediately, and he fired his gun, as we say, and made contact in the Notre Dame backfield. That is a perfect illustration of how to play a short yardage defense.
So it is 4th and 1, and the Irish kicking team comes on. Number 13, Bostic, was shaken up on that last play as Keith got caught in the bottom of the stack, and about 4,000 pounds fell on him.
Bostic's one of the ace players for Michigan secondary, the leader, the signal caller.
Blair Keel is in to punt. Brian Carpenter drops back to accept it. Pressure's on. Kick his way. It's a good kick. Going into the wind. Got it spinning. Turned it over. And Carpenter, looking for a little wall over there, finds a bit of a crease and runs it back to the 40. So it was a 42-yard punt. He pulled it back 11 yards, 31 net. And Michigan's operating from good field position to start the second half at their own 40. 13-12 to go in the third quarter, and Steve Smith comes out with a play from the sidelines to join the huddle for the Wolverines. Notre Dame sets up a four-man front, three linebackers. Keep it on the ground. They go to the fullback, Stan Edwards, and Edwards bangs in for a couple of yards as Edwards opens at fullback, Woolfolk the tailback, Carter, flanker, and Vince Bean the split end. Moransky, Humphreys, Dixon, Becker, Paris, and Betts, the up front people. Stephon Humphreys, interesting young man for me, fine student, plans to go into medicine, I understand, here at Michigan. But his dad, Thornton Humphreys, used to play basketball for Seattle University back in my younger days when I was out in that part of the country beginning a career. That was a long time ago, wasn't it, Thornton? Pitch is outside to Woolfolk, and he takes a whack from John Krim. So Krim comes up with another fine defensive play as he stopped him. Otherwise, he might have been long gone. Kevin Griffith is playing defensive end, 240-pound senior. Tom Bach, a 255-pound tackle. Joe Gremke, a 245-pound tackle. And Big Pat Kramer, a 250-pound defensive end this year. Played tackle last year. Bobby Crable, linebacker, All-American, as we told you. Mark Slavakton, fine football player there as well. And Joe Leczinski, your other linebacker, junior out of Farmington, Michigan. It is 3rd down and 4 for Steve Smith. He's going for Carter, and it's incomplete. And Dewerson knocked it down. Carter running to the sidelines, a long pass for Smith to throw, and Anthony having to look back into a very bright sun.
He's going to run in and back out, and Dewerson, number 23, you can see his awareness. He comes up and leaves his feet and times it perfectly and knocks the pass down. Notre Dame's secondary is experienced, and they're talented. They're big, good football players.
Bracken is in to kick for Michigan. Both teams now have had a chance for the ball in the 3rd quarter, and they've had to punt it away.
Stay fired up. Stay fired up.
Notre Dame coming after him. Back off of it a little bit now, and he gets his kick off. It's a good one. And it goes on to the end zone. So it'll be Michigan's ball, Notre Dame's ball, rather, at their own 20 after a 54-yard Michigan punt. Time is up. 105,888 watching, 3rd largest crowd in Michigan history. Notre Dame has the ball, trailing 7-0, their own 20. Under the new rule, which allows conversation with the coach, both teams. He's going to see it more and more, I think, this year, where while the Notre Dame offensive team is over talking with their coaching staff, the Michigan defensive team is out on this sideline. The officials send that to old man themselves. Now we're ready to go. 1st down and 10 at the 20. Ball is given off to Greg Bell, the tailback, and Bell is out around the 26-27 before Boren leads the Michigan tacklers. So that number 40 is having a day.
Linebackers are the key to any defense. You can see him take on the blocker on this particular one, and Shiner, number 74, is 6'8". He has to give a little ground, but he goes out and assists in the tackle.
Give him 6, call it 2nd down, short 4. Mastak comes way wide to the right side, or toward you. Well, look out for the option pass. Hunter puts it in the air. Mastak's back there, and it's intercepted by Bostic. Bostic looked at Mastak coming downfield and then turned to pick up the ball, and was right in his hand. That's the 2nd time that Notre Dame's gone to trickery, and it's backfired.
Well, you can see that Hunter doesn't make too much of a fake. He throws the ball right to the defense. Actually, it was a very poor throw, and was interception written on it all the way, giving Michigan an excellent chance, good field position, some momentum, and they've got to put something together, get some more points on the scoreboard. Tonight it's going to go right down the wire.
10:58 to play in the 3rd quarter. Keith Jackson, Frank Broyles, and Steve Davis here at Ann Arbor, Michigan Stadium, and Steve Smith hands the ball to Butch Woolfolk. And Woolfolk penetrates it. He got just enough help over there, and he blew it out for about 5 yards. Now we go to New York.
Final score in from Clemson, South Carolina, and the first big upset of this week has taken place. 4th-ranked Georgia falls to Clemson 13-3. Write the Bulldogs' epitaph with 9 turnovers, 5 interceptions, and 4 fumbles. Walker not a factor in the 2nd half as Georgia had to throw to try to catch up. Now back to Ann Arbor.
Bostic, who made the interception to give Michigan the ball. Woolfolk picked up 8 on that carry. And Butch totaling 77 on 13 carries so far. Stan Edwards there trying for the 1st down. He's close to it. Bob Clasby, number 91, the tackle for Notre Dame. Notre Dame now with Clasby, Marshall, Autry, and Liebenstein along the defensive front. And it is a 1st down for Stanley Edwards.
I think we should mention that Notre Dame is playing 2 sets of defensive linemen. This is their young group. Their starters were all seniors. This is the group that has mostly sophomores.
Played 42 of them in the first half. So he's using a lot of people. Carolina sure scoring a lot of points this year, aren't they?
Nick Crumb's a good football coach, got a good team.
First down at the Notre Dame 42 for Michigan. Handed off to Edwards again, and Stan running in traffic. Hits down to inside the 38. Kurt Becker, big old guard. He gets in behind him, and it just hangs on to his coattail, and away they go. Alabama 9-3 over Kentucky in the fourth quarter. I think everybody expected that Fran Kersey was going to have a competitive team. You see Georgia Tech now dropping off to 14-point deficit to the Florida Gators, who apparently are getting their show together down in Gainesville today. Ivy League folks getting underway this afternoon. 9:20 to go now as Michigan has it. Second down and 6. Woolfolk, the tailback. Great speed. Inside the 30 to 34, where Crable rolls him out of bounds. Bob Crable.
When we speak of speed for a linebacker and how valuable it can be, because Woolfolk runs about a 9.400, and watch Crable just go right out the line, and he knows where he's got to meet him, and he does, and knocks him out of bounds.
And Michigan is looking at third and short. 3rd and 3. Carter's the wide man out of the picture. Edwards, the fullback, and Stan has the first down to the Notre Dame 31. He's a junior. He played a lot as a freshman. He's just been a very steady, solid football player for Bo Schembechler here at Michigan. Good-looking young man, too.
And he's a fine team player because he blocks every time he doesn't carry the football for Wolf at the tailback. Here comes the senior, experienced 4-down lineman, and the rookies go out of the game.
Minnesota, look to here, leading Purdue 9-0 in the second quarter. Mississippi State and Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt won its opener this year. Missouri rolling it off. And Iowa State jumping on Iowa in the first quarter with 10 big points. Iowa having upset Nebraska last week at Iowa City. First down for the Wolverines. And it's the tailback, Woolfolk. Bunch is a big, angular sort of a fellow, and when he gets himself moving, he didn't have all that much of a hole, but he's a hard guy to tackle low. And he just momentumed his way right on down for 4.
That describes it, and the coaches were telling me, Keith, that he's improving with every game. He's been able to gain a little more patience and a little more ability to read the blockers, which he did on that play. Wasn't much blocking, but he made a nice game.
Got about 5 yards out of it. Ball is at the 26. Almost some movement in that line, but Smith, the quarterback, keeps it and turns it inside, and there he gets a greeting from Robert Crable.
Anytime
wed in August of this year.
Anytime there's Jerry Faust from Mola High School. What a transition he's made.
He's in the pressure cooker today, folks.
Notre Dame football has always been center stage, but he has brought it even more so. Fine young man.
Well, Michigan hides a ruffle, though. They've lost twice in a row now, successively, about 2 points. And Woolfolk puts with a big hole over the right side, makes it first down for Michigan at about the Irish 16. Just pure power on the right side behind Becker and Paris.
Look at the blocking and watch when, and take notice that when Woolfolk gets to the line of scrimmage, there's no defensive people there, which means that those offensive linemen have done an excellent job of getting the surge that you need in situations like this.
That was Muransky, 72 on the right side that time with Becker. It opened up that big hole. Muransky and Paris, the tackles flip-flop. First down for Michigan. Go back to Woolfolk. And Butch is caught behind the line of scrimmage and falls down just about where the ball was snapped. Guess who? Crable.
Crable is all over the field. He has got a good read on the tailbacks, and he's mirrored them, which means he's going right with them. Watch him turn Woolfolk to the outside. Woolfolk makes the mistake of going sideways, and that really helps the tackler, and Crable tackles him for no gain.
Humphreys trying to hang on to Crable and keep him off of his ball carrier, but he couldn't do it. Second down and 10. Horan comes up now. He's going to blitz. And they pick him up, and the pass complete to Carter. Carter shakes one, gets away from another. Touchdown, Michigan! think that kid isn't great?
Oh, what a play he made, Chief. And is he happy? These 4,000 people, Notre Dame's got about 2 or 3 here. They are excited about this Michigan team's comeback from last week.
He just juked and got away from John Krim on that play. Durison and Krim were both over there, and he just got loose. And here's Haji-Sheik now. They try the extra point. 6:22 to go. The ball is fumbled. Haji-Sheik picks it up, throws a pass. It is caught by Woolfolk, but he can't get to the end zone, and the ball got away. That's a bad snap.
It was an excellent throw. First, let's give Smith some credit because he rifled the ball, fires it right in there. But we all had the feeling up here, Keith, that sooner or later, John Krim would make a mistake. He's so far off of Carter that Carter has time to dodge him and just walk in for the touchdown. And that's why, right there, if Bo Schembechler says that this young man, number 1, Anthony Carter, 21 touchdowns in 2 years, this is his second one today, is the most explosive, exciting football player that he has ever coached. Here it is again, the finish, and watch the tight end 88 not clip, stay there and just scream.
And so the extra point try goes awry, though, and that might be a factor before the day's done. The shadow of the Goodyear blimp sliding across the field there as Michigan gets ready to kick off to Notre Dame with Durison, Krim, and Bell, the deep people. Bell is number 28 in the middle. Haji-Sheik will kick it off. 13-0 Wolverines, and he knocks it on out of the end zone, or deep in the end zone. No return there. Let's go back to the Carter isolated shot of Anthony as he scores the touchdown.
As you watch it, let's look at some of Carter's records. He is already approaching all of the Michigan records. He is leading for yards per catch average in America, an all-time NCAA record right now.
Now the extra point try here. Sweeney is the snapper. B.J. Dickey, the holder, wasn't even looking. No. Hit it right inside of the head.
Keith, I don't understand it because usually the system is that the holder tells him when to snap the ball. Something went wrong.
Here's Mike Boren, number 40 again, making the play on the Notre Dame tailback, Greg Bell. What a day Boren's had.
Isn't he having a great day? He's having fun out there because Notre Dame is not running anything complicated. It's just handoffs and a few pitches, and he can read the play. He can follow the fullback, and watch what he does. He fires. He shoots his gun. He doesn't hesitate. He crosses the line of scrimmage when he saw the crease, and he was finally able to tackle Bell for the loss.
Lost back to the 17, where it is 2nd down and 13. The ball is given off to Greg Bell, and Bell lunges up across the 20 to the 21. So they're looking at 3rd and long. Now let's see if the Michigan defense shifts a little bit and brings in the extra back. Nope, guess not. Kentucky in the 4th quarter has gone ahead of Alabama 10-9.
John Robinson made a great statement. Everybody looks 7-4 to him. I thought that was classic by Southern Cal's John Robinson.
3rd and long. 3rd and 8. Blair Keel throws the pass. It is incomplete. Notre Dame trying to get the ball to Tony Hunter. Hunter was covered like a blanket by the outside linebacker Ben Needham. The crowd is roaring for the Michigan defense, and Notre Dame's going to have to kick it and give Michigan field position again.
You can see that Michigan has the Hunter coming out of the backfield covered all the way as Needham, number 97, makes the play. But the thing is, you cannot concede Michigan no passing and try to run against them and win the ball game.
No, sir, you can't.
Historically, you can't do that. You've got to mix up some passing.
They got an 8-man front, trying to put some pressure on the kicker, Keel. Low line drive kick goes right to Carpenter. Gets a little block. No, sir. Fine open field tackle back there by John Sweeney, the backup fullback. 40-yard punt on the play with 4:55 to go in the 3rd quarter. Michigan leading 13-0. Next week, we'll have regional games for you. They'll be announced early of next week, followed by, on most of these ABC stations, the Oklahoma Sooners and the Southern California Trojans from Los Angeles.
Oklahoma and Southern Cal are 2 of the most offensive-minded football teams in college football. Will be some matchup.
I'm really looking forward to that one. going to be fun for me for two reasons. One of them, I can drive to work. Lawrence Ricks is the tailback now for Michigan. Stanley Edwards, the fullback, has the ball, and he moves it from the 43 up across the 45.
One thing that was noticeable on that run, Keith, is when Ricks turned inside, he protected the football. The first thing and only thing that they don't want is a fumble.
Ball just outside the 45, close to the 46. Call it 3, make it second down 7.
Get back in there. Get back in there.
Give it to Ricks this time. And Lawrence to midfield. So they'll look at 3rd and 2.
This is the same strategy that Michigan used on the last possession when they moved in for the touchdown. Power running, Keith, right up the middle, using those big, all Big Ten blockers that they've got, getting a little more movement than they did in the first half, gaining a little more yardage, keeping the chains moving down the field.
And winding the clock.
That is important. And Bo is saying faster, faster, faster.
Option down the line. Smith, the quarterback. First down, Wolverines, Notre Dame 40.
If you've got to mention the crowd. The crowd has, for the Michigan fans, has been sensational. They have helped this football team throughout this game. But there was, on that pass play, was the promise. I think that Smith has shown Bo Schembechler in practice. He darted inside and made a nice gain on the option play.
He's run for 58 yards on 7 carries. That's the tailback, Ricks. Getting outside to the 30. That'll be very close to a first down, depending on where they put it. Looks like a first.
It looked easy, but it wasn't, because one of the Notre Dame players blitzed, and Ricks had nowhere to go but to the outside. Keith, but he accelerated. Showed right there why he rushed for over 800 yards as a backup tailback or an alternate tailback last season.
Butch will be gone. Butch is a senior, so Lawrence ought to have that job next year.
He'll have enough experience to get the job done.
In this quarter, Michigan's run off 6 first downs. Notre Dame none. Wolverines leading 13-0. Stan Edwards, the fullback, on first down gets 2.
To recap the situation, Notre Dame in the second quarter only made 1 first down in 4 possessions. Don't believe they made a first down this quarter.
None.
Michigan defense has dominated the play. Notre Dame looks rattled on offense, have not been able to complete any passes, and haven't had much success running the ball.
Second down and 8. Wolfel back at tailback. Smith on the option, goes outside to Wolfel. Wolfel gets a block, gets around the 20, inside the 20. He's got a Michigan first down at the Notre Dame 17. Joe Johnson brought him down with help from John Krim.
But the key block was made by the tight end, Norm Betts, blocking out the strong safety, opening up the crease for Woolfolk to turn down the field.
Butch now has gone 18 times with the ball today and picked up 104 yards, and Alabama gets a field goal from Peter Kim to regain the lead over Kentucky in the fourth quarter by 2. First down, Michigan. Notre Dame 17. Give it to Woolfolk, the tailback, to the 15. Stacked up there by Pat Kramer, particularly Kramer.
Heath, have you noticed, and I know you have, that when you get to moving the ball on the ground, your yards get a little bit larger. The sizable gains begin to increase. You get the momentum, and the defensive team's intensity seems to lessen.
Well, the story on the rushing in the ball game, Michigan has 212 yards. Notre Dame has only 63.
There's an old adage, the team that rushes for the most yardage wins in college football about 90% of the time.
Lawrence Ricks is a tailback, but Ricks will not get this time as Smith stays in the air, throws it, and it's almost intercepted by Stacy Torin. You've got a penalty flag thrown at the goal line.
But I believe it's offensive interference.
Might very well be. But the Notre Dame people reacting that way now may not go that way.
Good. Extra flag.
It's against Notre Dame.
Defensive pass interference. in the end zone. First down on the 1-yard line.
First and goal to go, Michigan at the Notre Dame 1. And what a call that was. The Michigan players come up now over the ball, asking the crowd to quiet down. Smith sets him up out of the eye. Ricks, touchdown.
Here it is from the end zone. Look at the blocking on the left side of the line. It's Becker, number 65, the pulling guard, clears the path for him. 260-pound pulling guard.
He took Crable right out of there, didn't he?
Beautiful block.
Took him out.
And it's one of the most difficult assignments you can have. It's a guard pulling around the center and blocking a linebacker. The abilities of Bob Crable, the All-American.
Big play, however, was the defensive pass interference. We'll have another look at that one. But right now, Michigan's going for 2. 19-0, and they want to make it 21.
Want to get multiples of 7 if they possibly can.
Carter's in motion. Carter's got the ball. He's got an army in front of him. But man, Notre Dame throws him out of bounds. Boy, I'll tell you, that took a hard head and a square jaw to keep him from getting in. Trim and Jurison came over and made the play, and it remains 19-0. A minute 12 to play in the third quarter. Michigan's jumped out to a 19-0 lead. The numbers on the move there. The big play was a defensive pass interference call against Stacy Toran. Haji Sheik kicks it off. Ball's bouncing around. They got to pick it up. John Trim finally picks it up. But Michigan by that time has swarmed all over him at the 8-yard line. So when it's going bad, isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly is. You know, the people at home, you're like me. You watch the ball carrier. But look at the Kurt Becker, number 65. You don't get to see this except on replays. And Becker is going to make a beautiful block. He's going to pull behind the center, number 65. He's going to block All-American Bob Crable. Watch him put his shoulders, keep contact with him, and drive him past the hole as Ricks, number 46, cuts behind him for the touchdown. Excellent play.
All right, here's Notre Dame with a problem. Ball back on their own 8-yard line, working into the wind, and give the ball off to Phil Carter, the tailback, and now the Michigan defense is just breathing fire. I mean, you jump in there, it's like jumping into a fire pit. Mike Boren, number 40, again, right on the ball. Tom Quinn.
Keith, you're going to have to stop it.
Illegal procedure, Notre Dame.
One thing that I think we should mention, today, most football teams have drop-back passing for situations when you get behind. I haven't seen Notre Dame throw a drop-back pass. All they have shown is play action. And play action is not going to mean much when they're trailing 19-0 against a team like Michigan and the way they play defense.
All right, here's a call.
We have illegal motion. Batsman outside of the snap. Second down. It's decline.
That's how much confidence this Michigan defense has got going now. They said, we don't want that. Just roll it over one more time. Make it second down.
Now the situation heavily favors Michigan defense. If they should throw a pass, they'll be ready for it.
They go to Carter, the tailback. Gets good blocking around the corner and runs the football out to about the 18. Again, Boren is right over there to make the defensive play for Michigan. We're talking about field position, and I know that's one of your favorite subjects when you start looking at what has happened to you in the ball game. But you go back to the beginning of the game, Notre Dame has started the 20, the 16, the 13, the 17, the 25, the 25, the 19, the 20, the 20, the 20, and the 8. That's not good field position.
You keep field position by great defense, Keith, and that says what Michigan has done today.
Might be the last play of the third quarter right here on 3rd down and 1. Tony Hunter has the ball trying to muscle for the first down, and he won't get it. Ben Needham, outside linebacker number 97, led the defensive charge for Michigan, and Notre Dame now has got to kick it away. So we played 3, and we'll continue after this commercial message and a word from our local station. We've got 15 minutes of football to play with Michigan sitting on a 19-0 lead and Notre Dame kicking the ball away. Blair Keel hangs it up with the wind at his back. Ryan Carpenter takes it at the 40. Oh, and again, Michigan's got great field position. They're out on their 47-yard line. Here's some scores now of games that are being played around the country. USC and Indiana are in the third quarter at Bloomington, and they are scoreless.
That is a big surprise.
Huh. Say so. Clemson beat Georgia today, 13-3, and Pitt's rolling over Cincinnati. So Georgia's string came to an end in Death Valley, Clemson, South Carolina. North Carolina, meantime, rolled, and UCLA leading Wisconsin in a ball game that's featuring a lot of scoring. Wisconsin having beaten Michigan last week. Right now, here are the Wolverines trying to handle Notre Dame, giving the ball to Lawrence Ricks. And once again, to re-emphasize again and again and again, I suppose might become boring if you're a Notre Dame partisan. But the ground game of Michigan is just getting stronger and stronger, and Alabama getting a touchdown and a field goal in the fourth quarter overcomes Kentucky 19-10.
Add on what Keith said about Michigan's rolling offense, ground game. In the fourth quarter, when you're moving the ball like this, those gains grow in size.
Here goes Stanley Edwards for a first down. He was down before the ball squirted loose, down to the Notre Dame 37. Kurt Becker and Ed Muransky, 275 and 260, patrolled the corner to get him going.
Amazing thing is that Notre Dame did not make a first down in the third quarter and only one in the second quarter. So Michigan leads in everything. They've dominated the football game, 316 to 111, one turnover apiece. All Michigan so far.
At the Irish 37, first down. Smith gives it to Lawrence Ricks. And Ricks gets it close to the 30. Oh, they're just chopping off 6-7 yards on every first down, aren't they?
They certainly are. Both Schembechler told me, he says, you can count on it. We're going to move the ball on the ground. I said that at the top of the show. And he has fulfilled that promise.
Monday Night Football here on ABC. The Dallas Cowboys and the New England Patriots. Tom Landry trying to get his troops organized and on a march toward another title. New England Patriots. They just got Sam Cunningham back the other day, so maybe Sam will be strapping on a helmet and playing again for the Patriots. Up the middle this time with it, and they're just short. Looks like they're short of the first down with Stan Edwards carrying. So the big fullback now is getting the call more and more because he runs so well in traffic. And Notre Dame man shaking on the play.
Keith, we were talking about this rolling offensive game of Michigan's. One thing that has surprised me is they haven't had to use good play selection. They've just run what you said right at Notre Dame, and that is a shock that they've made this much yardage. That's the one thing that Notre Dame hadn't done.
That's right.
Is run right at Michigan, and Michigan is vulnerable to that.
Time is out for the injured Notre Dame player. It's Mark Savagnan, a weak linebacker, but Mark's up now and walking off, and we'll be right back. All right, the look at the campus, the stadium, the setting, and that's a lot of folks. 105,888. Most of them wearing the maize and blue of Michigan today and feeling mighty happy right now. 13 minutes and 5 seconds to play in a ball game.
They have every right to feel happy because their team has played extremely well all across the board.
Yet they were soundly whipped last week at Camp Randall Stadium by the Wisconsin Badgers. So it may be one of those years.
What was Woody Hayes told Bo? You blew it, but he didn't blow this one so far.
Nope. Third and a short yard. Give it to Woolfolk up the middle. And Butch is inside the 10 down to the 7. Make it the 6.
That is acceleration. You're going to watch the blocking develop. You'll see it exactly as Woolfolk saw the big hole. Watch him make 27, miss him, turning right down the field, running north and south. And the big thing I noticed was he covered the football when he got in traffic.
Butch has now carried 20 times for 127 yards. He had 119 last Saturday. It's first down and goal to go from the 6. Smith on an option. Touchdown. To go in the ball game, and the Michigan Wolverines stretching it out to 25-0 will go for 2. You
can see the hurt on Bouse's face there.
The pass is incomplete. Intercepted, as a matter of fact, by John Krim. There's a penalty flag thrown by the line judge.
It's a tough assignment John Krim has, covering Anthony Carter man for man, inside, meaning he covers him inside, he covers it to the outside.
Pass interference call there.
Put it on the 1-yard line. Keith, on the last drive, as we listen to the call.
We have pass interference on the try in the end zone by the defense on the 1-yard line.
Let's see if we can see at the right corner of your screen. Krim puts his right hand and shoves Carter.
That's automatic. When that official sees that arm come out,
yes,
and a pushing, whether really you make much contact or not, if it comes out there like that, you're going to get the flag.
Keith, one thing was obvious, that Notre Dame's defensive intensity has lessened considerably as the holes that Michigan opened up on that last drive were just gaping.
All right, the Wolverines will again go for 2, leading 25-0. Are you surprised?
Hand it to Woolfolk. Nope, he's going to throw it.
Oh, he had him wide open, too. Craig Dunaway was just all alone, and Smith threw it too soon.
Same problem he had last week, but other than Steve Smith happy with his performance today in handling the club, Bo Schembechler, as we see it again, he's going to throw it too quick. He's Dunaway, number 82, is open in the secondary. In fact, he's wide open. But Bo Schembechler is going to be the happiest of them all because he needs that young man to get some confidence and the team get confidence in him, Keith. Now let's look at the touchdown on the option play. Number 16, he's just a sophomore. 3 out of 18 last week in the loss to Wisconsin. But he's gaining confidence right here. This is why Bo says his talent is there. All he needs is some experience as he bursts into the end zone for the touchdown.
Now Michigan will kick it off to Notre Dame. The last time the Irish were shut out was 1978 by Missouri, 3-0. Haji Sheik hangs it high. It's picked up in the end zone, and they got to come out with it. And breaking to the outside and getting a good return for Notre Dame, number 24, Joe Howard. Took me a moment to find him.
Look at the scoring drive. 6 plays, 53 yards on the ground. Shows you that they're averaging nearly 9 yards a try. A rush attempt. In college, when you get moving the ball on the ground, the fourth quarter comes around. Watch out. I've been on both sides of it, Keith.
First down for the Irish out at the 23. Tim Cagle. Looking for somebody. Finds a white shirt. Throws and misses. Greg Bell, the tailback. Pretty good job in that defensive secondary for Michigan.
Very talented.
ABC's Wide World of Sports comes up next. We have the U.S. trials for the World Gymnastics Championships out of Fort Collins, Colorado. The women's competition will be live, and this is the meet that determines those who will compete in the Worlds in gymnastics, plus the Southern 500 stock car race. That old snake of a track down in Darlington, South Carolina. Ball is given off to the tailback, Bell. Bell is caught and wrestled down.
Like a face mask.
I think with the face mask on Thompson. Robert Thompson, number 99, is the man who grabbed him.
Bo Schembechler has one of, as we listen to the call.
Yep.
Bo Schembechler is one of the greatest football coaches of our time. I don't think there's any doubt about it. There's strong conviction of this and strong confirmation of this as we look at his record defensively as compared to last week. 439 yards by Wisconsin as they just rolled over Michigan. But look at what Michigan has done over the decade. Led the nation in scoring, defense, rushing defense, and total defense. And that relates to winning any way you slice it.
Notre Dame has picked up 30 yards in quarters 2, 3, and the 2 minutes and 45 seconds we played in the fourth. First down, though, on that face mask call at the 41 of Notre Dame. Irish have the ball, and Cagle looking to throw it, straight back with it. Goes to the sidelines, pass caught by Hunter. Tony Hunter goes up and makes a fine leaping catch, and the Irish have a first down at the 37.
Tony Hunter, number 85, he played for Faust at Moeller High School, delays a little bit, finally gets outside the cornerback, is even pushed outside of the boundary, but he can come back inside as long as he comes back immediately. Look at the hands, concentration, 6'5", Tony Hunter, completion.
Well, he's 6'5", and Evan Cooper trying to defend is 5'11". They go back with the ground, and Moriarty, the fullback, having a little trouble getting the handle on it.
Keith, I don't believe we've lost a fumble by either team in this ball game.
Nope. We've had it squirt loose a couple of times, but it's been regained each time. There's a loss of a couple of yards. Second down and 12.
Now the Michigan defense can drop off, play against the pass.
Time to throw short. Hunter to the 30, down to the 28. Short of a first down. But now they're starting to move it a little bit. The Michigan defense may have relaxed just a bit. Code Red is a special movie presentation. And Lauren Green stars as the leader of Firefighting Corps. 8 o'clock tonight, Eastern and Pacific, 7 Central and Mountain. Tomorrow night, right here on ABC. It's a good one. Code Red. Third down and about 2. They go to Bell, and Greg Bell's got the first down as he slants across the Michigan 25. You've got 10 minutes and 38 seconds now showing on the clock to play in the ball game. Michigan with a 25-0 lead. The Irish now moving it.
I can only think back to yesterday when Bo Schembechler looked at me, Keith, and he says, "We will play well and we will win." I said, "Bo, you got to be kidding." He says, "Believe me."
Condini, the wide man, out of the picture for the Irish. Cagle getting good protection, goes down the middle. It is picked off. Intercepted by Tony Jackson. And he brings it way back up the field. And you got a penalty flag thrown down around the 33. He was throwing the ball for Condini. Condini was open for a moment. The pass was late. Blocking below the knees on Michigan.
Michigan will keep possession of the football, Keith. 15 yards from the spot of the foul.
And the spot of the foul, if in fact where the flag is lying now is the spot, it's at the 33, so it'll back them up inside the 20. The clock is stopped now at 10:13 to play in the ball game, and nothing's going right for the Irish.
Oh, he handles those tough shots so easily.
I wish I could handle my bills as easily. My broker says I should switch some money into bonds with higher interest for more income. What does your broker say?
Well, my broker's E.F. Hutton, and E.F. Hutton says...
When E.F. Hutton talks, people listen.
Chevy makes good things happen. Introducing Chevrolet's Classics. 3 magnificent new automobiles designed for the 80s. Caprice Classic, the uppermost Chevrolet. Monte Carlo, the classic personal luxury car. And the elegant new Malibu Classic. All with available diesel power to carry you through the 80s in classic style. Chevy makes good things happen for you.
It's Dave Dials in New York. The second-ranked Trojans of Southern Cal have all they can handle at Bloomington. With 8.5 minutes left in the third period, Southern Cal and Indiana are scoreless. Marcus Allen, 166 yards in the first half. Southern Cal missed 2 field goals, and the Hoosiers have missed 1. Let's go back now to Keith Jackson in Ann Arbor.
We've got 10 minutes and 13 seconds to play. The football has been spotted back inside the 20 near the 18 of Michigan after the below-the-waist blocking. And Michigan sends out the first unit, leading 25-0. Jerry Faust apparently about to absorb his first defeat as the head coach of the Fighting Irish. Gerald Ingram is in there at fullback now for Michigan. Ball goes to the tailback. And Butch Woolfolk is out to the 25 for 7. So once again, the Michigan ground game comes out and blows off 7 yards on first down.
One thing that Bo Schembechler believes in is a strong running game, Keith. And when you get ahead in the fourth quarter, then it's only natural to do what you do best, run right at the opposing team, and they're doing it very successfully.
Woolfolk now, 21 carries and 134 yards. To the fullback, Ingram, and a penalty flag.
Ball carried by Gerald Ingram.
The game has been relatively free of penalties, though, for this early in the season.
Dead ball. Illegal procedure. 72. Beat the snap.
Big Ed, still anxious.
Well, that says something for his competitiveness, Keith, to me. This late in the game, the score like this, and he's ready to go after him.
Flags now. Michigan's flagged. You see the total yardage there. The Wolverines have been flagged 6 times for 50 yards. Notre Dame, 1 flag for 14.
This is a different Michigan offense than last year with Wangler as quarterback. They threw more, no options. Smith has different qualities.
It'll be second down and 8 now after the penalty. Give it to Woolfolk. And Butch a little late getting started. A slight delay on it. Wasn't quite enough to make it a real bona fide draw play. But by the time he got to where he wanted to go, Rick Naylor was there, the linebacker, to make the tackle on him, number 37.
This Michigan offensive line has done a job, Keith. I don't think I've seen anybody come off the ball as they have against Notre Dame, knowing how strong physically and imposing Notre Dame is today, as they always are.
Ball goes to Woolfolk. Again, you've got penalty flags. You may have a clip on that one.
The flanker cracking back. Yes, it was Anthony Carter cracking back on the cornerback.
Clipping, number 1. Coming back.
Clipping against Michigan.
Yeah, that's a big one. 8:34 to go in the ball game. Next Saturday, regional game starting at 12 Eastern time, followed on most of these stations by USC and Oklahoma. We could be watching the fight for number 1 in the polls next week, too.
Watch Carter. He's going to take 2 steps down. He's supposed to block trim number 19, and he does with his hands right in the back. That's as obvious a clip, I guess, as we've seen in a long time. He wasn't going to let him get back there. Some heck of high water, but he cost the team 15 yards.
The ball is backed up now inside the 15 to the 12 with Jim Lampley, Dave Towle standing by in New York to bring you up to date on all those things that have been happening today. The Georgia Bulldogs were defeated. They're whittling away on the ranks of the unbeaten. USC and Indiana were scoreless in the third quarter. Here's Smith putting it out long. It's going to be picked off, and it is. Norm Betts, the intended receiver, grabs Joe Johnson, a freshman out of Fostoria, Ohio, just as quickly as he caught the ball. But now the Irish have it, first down at the Michigan 42.
You can see Schembechler right on the sideline. He's got Smith, and he's telling him right now, don't throw the ball up to scramble. Take your loss, get rid of it, but he does. Watch him. He just throws it down the middle, lets it go, and it's an easy interception. Very easy. As you can see, the ball was thrown more to number 27. Johnson, yes, than it was to the receiver.
So here's the hour. Let's make this the 41. It's closer there. Michigan 41. 8:20 to play. Cagle, the quarterback. Goes over the middle with it. He's got Tony Hunter wide open. open, and Hunter is inside the 10, down at the 6, maybe the 7.
I think we should mention that Bo Schembechler still got his first team in the ball game. The score is 25-0, although Notre Dame is threatening. Here comes a couple of slugs. That was an excellent throw. Perfect timing. Hunter wide open down the middle. Let's watch him get in behind the linebackers. Wide open. Bostic, number 13, shoved him. You can see how open he is because the safety men are playing way too deep. Jackson finally makes the play along with number 3, Body.
First and goal to go from the 8 for Notre Dame. Cagle wants to put it up. Got some pressure. He gets it off. It is batted down. Intended for Hunter, and Gergash, inside linebacker, slapped it away.
Cagle showed some skill just getting away from the rush and getting rid of the ball.
Doug James at that middle guard spot was the man tormenting him. I wouldn't be surprised with what Doug James might not have won himself a job today as the middle guard, big sophomore from Louisville.
Didn't play much last week. As Caraway played nose guard, Caraway has moved the tackle for this game.
Second down and goal for the Irish at the Michigan 8. Cagle had Bush go wide open, throws instead to Mastak, makes the catch, penalty flag there. Let's see about it.
Interference.
Touchdown, Notre Dame.
One of the toughest passes to defend on the goal line is a tight end across. And Mastak, number 86, is going to work his way all the way across the grain. And he's going to be picked up over there, I think, by number 21, Cooper. Cooper got his hands on him a little bit. Touchdown completed, regardless, without the interference.
He had Condini, rather Bushka it was, going across in the end zone wide open. But by the time Tim was looking, he had to find a white shirt, and he saw his big tight end and drilled him. The extra point try by Oliver is good. And so Notre Dame is on the board at 7:42 to play in a ball game. It's Michigan 25, the Irish 7.
Onside kick.
7:42 to play in the ball game. 25-7 Michigan. Oliver is up. Irish went 41 yards in 3 plays after the interception. Michigan anticipating onside kick. Have defensive backs and receivers up front. Anthony Carter's way back at the goal line all by himself. Out, they kick it away.
That surprises me.
Carter at the 1. Oh, he was one block from see you later. Got him out to the 23.
Keith, he showed the speed there. He outran everybody, as you said, and only one man stood between him and a touchdown, and he sprained his ankle a little bit. Anthony Carter.
ABC's Wide World of Sports. Want to follow our football game. The gymnastics in the Southern 500. Gymnastics women's competition will be live out of Fort Collins, Colorado. That's where Colorado State University is located. Sarkar Slanians football team. First down for Michigan. Handed off inside to Gerald Ingram. Bob Cosby, big guy from Milton, Mass, makes the tackle for the Irish. And the clock now is running.
I would think that Bo Schembechler will let his team walk back to the huddle, try to use as much of the 25 seconds as he possibly can, keep the ball on the ground, not give Notre Dame another break like they did on the previous possession, throwing for an easy interception down the middle to the safety man.
Second down and 9 from the 24. Get it off just in time. Give it to Butch Woolfolk. And Butch is caught and thrown down by Bob Crable right at the line of scrimmage. Here's an All-American right here, number 43.
The reason he's an All-American is that he has range. He steps up thinking that the tailback, Woolfolk, is going to go right up the middle, but when Woolfolk breaks for the outside, you can see that he fights his way through traffic. That's what makes one of the things that makes him an All-American.
3rd down and 9 for Michigan. Carter's back in there. We've got a whistle stopping it.
Exceeded the 25 seconds.
Dead ball. Delay the game. Offense.
5 yards. 6:07 to play. Well, Nebraska, upset by Iowa last week, turns it on Florida State today out at Lincoln, 24-7. Minnesota leading Purdue by 3, and that would go down as an upset. Mississippi State, 22-9. Emory Ballard's ball club, good tough football team, I think. Missouri beating Rice. Iowa State beating Iowa. And Wyoming, which gave Oklahoma a pretty good ball game. Looks like they might win one. Colorado leading my alma mater there, 7-0 in the second quarter. They're playing that in Boulder. 3rd down and 14. And here comes Lawrence Ricks. As they fake the reverse to Carter, Ricks keeps it and runs it up to about the 28, where Dave Dewerson cuts him down.
A little bit of a gadget play and something that is a good decision to use in this situation. Use up a lot of time on the clock. Didn't work for what they wanted and expected, a long game, but it was a nice game. Got them up where they can punt it deep in Notre Dame territory.
The last year has been a year of fantasy to a large degree for Jerry Faust. Moving from high school to the job he always dreamed about, winning his first game, #1 on the polls. But reality has set in with some degree of harshness here this afternoon at Michigan Stadium in Ann Arbor. And Bracken hits it up the old elevator shaft. Plunked it straight up in the air. It hits the sideline up at the 47. That's a 21-yard punt. And suddenly Notre Dame has field position again. And a great day for Butch. 23 carries at 139 yards.
Over 100 yards last week, and he's headed towards another 1,000-yard year. Bob Crable came close to blocking that kick, and I think it was his close position close to the kicker that forced the punt to go off to the side.
So the Irish have the ball at 5:18. They're just inside the 48 of Michigan, and Cagle will put it up. Throw short. Ball is knocked loose. Phil Carter, the tailback, coming out of the backfield. The intended receiver, Paul Gergash, number 50, was the man that separated him from the football. There's our schedule for next Saturday. And as I said a little while ago, there's every reason in the world to think if USC pulls out the game at Indiana today, that the #1 position in the country could be on the line between the Sooners and the Trojans. Cagle, throw it again. No, sir. No time. Robert Thompson, outside linebacker. 3rd sack of an Irish quarterback.
Thompson led Michigan defense in sacks last year. He had 15, a total of 60 yards. He came in when they needed him right there, put some pressure. That's the best pass defense in the world, is when the passer is laying on his back.
Ball is marked back to the Irish just outside the Notre Dame 45. Looking at about 3rd and 17. Cagle hit just as he throws, and no chance to get the ball to Phil Carter, but there is a penalty flag across the way. Cedric Coles was the man that hit him just as he threw it. Let's see about the penalty.
We have motion on the offense.
Obviously, Michigan's going to decline that and take the ball.
Again, Michigan defense rose to the occasion. One thing that they traditionally can do in a tough situation, when they won't do, they can play their best.
Well, they have truly been terrific today. I really have.
When you look at the field position chart, you know that the defense has been sensational.
Well, they're going to kick it on 4th and 17.
That's a little bit of a surprise, Keith. I think that most coaches with just 4 minutes to play, trailing by this much, would at least try to make the first down.
Center, get the center.
Field shanks it.
He shanked it bad.
Michigan recovers it all the way back at the Notre Dame 48. That was a 2-yard punt. Timeout.
At Bloomington, Indiana, Southern Cal has broken the scoring drought. Late in the third quarter, Marcus Allen scored on a 19-yard run to put the Trojans in front, 7-0. Then early in the fourth quarter, a moment ago, Fred Crutcher scored on an 11-yard run. With still 13 minutes to go in the ballgame, it is now Southern Cal 14, Indiana nothing. Keith Jackson in Ann Arbor.
I'm back in now. The first unit offensively, the big guys in the trenches. Moransky, Humphreys, Dixon, Becker, Paris, and Betts came off the field as a unit and got a standing ovation from the crowd.
And they deserved it. They played sensational.
Lawrence Ricks, the tailback, and he is caught by Bob Crable and thrown down for a loss. Back around the Michigan 48, loss of about 4. The most valuable players for today's ball game for Notre Dame, Bob Crable. Listen to this. He's had 15 solo tackles, 3 assist tackles, a total of 18 in the game so far. Mike Boren for Michigan, 8 unassisted tackles, 2 assisted tackles, a total of 10. And as much as anything, I think Mike Boren reflects the attitude. He's symbolic almost of the Michigan defense that was so dominant in the ball game.
Very definitely an all-out player, Keith.
So each of these, Ricks keeps the ball and busts loose. They thought they had him, and he just kept on churning and got away from a couple of tacklers. But in the name of Mike Boren and Robert Crable, the Universities of Michigan and Notre Dame will receive from Chevrolet $1,000 each for their General Scholarship Fund. Bob Lund, the president of the Chevrolet Motor Division, here with us today. Fun to see him again. Been a long time.
Yes, great football fan. Look at the yards rushing. Notre Dame only 70 yards. A direct turnaround from last year, Keith, where they ran over 200 against practically every team that they played.
Third down and about 6 for Michigan, and time obviously now the ally of the Wolverines as Ricks is spun around at the 45 and dropped, and 3.5 minutes to go in the ball game.
Well, I think they would stay in the huddle, take the full 25 seconds on the clock, use as much of it as possible.
Scoreboard coming up, Prudential College scoreboard with Messrs. Lampley and Dial. It's going to be interesting to see what's happened over there in Bloomington, USC and Indiana. They were scoreless as we had it in the third quarter. Oh, no, USC's going ahead now. High hanging punt. Oh, look at this. Oh, it finally gets in the end zone, but it was bounced twice on the 1-yard line, a 45-yard punt, and they almost downed it. Ben Needham took a lunge at it, and Ben just missed it.
Oh, Needham's a good football player, Keith. Held out last year for an injury. This is his 5th year, and he is a real all-out hustling linebacker.
All right, 2:53 to play in the ball game, and Notre Dame gets it one more time with Tim Cagle in there at quarterback.
I thought Cagle showed some real poise in the last drive, throwing the ball down the middle.
Throws that one to the sidelines for Mike Bushka. And Dick's boy makes the catch for a first down.
Pass is complete to number 17.
2-minute offense, no huddle.
They do stop the clock, however, in college football to move the change. Once the chains are in place, Tom Quinn starts it. First down, the ball is out of 33, Notre Dame. Cagle again looking to the sidelines, throws it in the crowd. He really didn't have a target. All of his people were on that side of the field, and they were all well covered at 2:42 to play in the ball game. Well, as we mentioned earlier, Georgia got beat today by 10 at Clemson, 13-3. So the numbers are starting to show up with some vigor in the right-hand column, aren't they?
Yes.
Michigan almost jumped. Second down and 10, Cagle. He looks for Bell, goes short instead to Hunter. Hunter is wrestled down up on the 36. Gain on the play of about 3, maybe 4. Jim Herman, Jr. from Dearborn Heights, Michigan, made the tackle for the Wolverines, and you see the time running at 2:25. Cagle is now 8 out of 17 for 125 yards. Wants to stop the clock with a sideline play. Gets it over there to Condini, and Dave steps out of bounds, stopping the clock at 2:18.
One thing that Bo Schembechler is good at is keeping the defense, keeping the offense contained in a situation like this. Make them throw the ball outside. That's a tough throw. Don't let him throw it down the middle for the big game.
First down for the Irish at the 45. Cagle getting pressured, goes over the middle with it, and he hits Tony Hunter right dead smack on the hands, and that's the second time in a ball game today that Tony has not held it.
Let's watch it again. Hunter's going to get in behind the linebackers. Linebackers tried to drop deep, but Cagle held the ball long enough. Let's see why he drops. See if we can tell why he drops the ball. Right in his hand, right in front of his eyes, just goes to the ground. No explanation for that, Keith. Too good an athlete to drop that pass.
2nd and 10. Want to set up a screen for the fullback Sweeney. Sweeney doesn't have anybody to help him, so John just works at it.
He left him a path of would-be tacklers behind. He made 3 or 4 or 5 people miss it.
Less than 2 minutes to play. So the Michigan Wolverines obviously have broken the string. The left side of the line, the Notre Dame man on the left side jumped off. Got going too soon. Pete Buchanan in as the tight end. Pete moved too soon, so that's a procedure against Notre Dame. But 2 years ago, Michigan lost here 12-10 when Crable blocked a field goal try, if you remember that great play.
95, offside, offense.
And then last year, Harry Oliver's dramatic last play 51-yard field goal for 29-27. Dan Devine is now down on the field, expressing, I am sure, knowing Dan Devine, sympathy for the circumstances. But Dan was up earlier today to visit with us. Fun to see him again. He looks rested.
I told him he looks about 10 years younger after he got rid of the coaching responsibilities. Dan Devine had an outstanding career at both Missouri and Notre Dame.
Time is out on the field. We've got 1 minute and 45 seconds left to play in the ball game, and Michigan has it in hand.
Hurry. Time is running out on participating Chevy
stock car race. ABC's Wide World of Sports is next.
Irish come to the attack now in the final 2 minutes of the ball game. The pass is thrown out intended for Greg Bell, the tailback. The pass was incomplete. He had 2 linebackers running with him. Number 97, Ben Needham, and number 94, Jim Herman.
Cagle was right on target. I think Bell should have caught the pass.
I think one of the interesting little conversations while we were away went on between that man, Bo Schembechler, and his quarterback, number 16, Smith. Smith has had the kind of a day with the team winning by 18 points where Bo can probably be very stern in his lecture.
He certainly will. The pass that he threw, the interception, was really unnecessary. Something he'll learn from. He has to learn from these mistakes.
Cagle goes to the air again. Hits his mount. Knocked loose. Incomplete. The story on Steve Smith today, 4 for 15, 103 yards. He threw 2 interceptions, but he had 2 touchdowns. And now the rousing round of applause goes for the Michigan defense one more time. Not a heck of a lot of people. I guess they're starting to leave a little bit now, but most of the 105,888 just now beginning to leave their seats.
If you were a Michigan fan, wouldn't you like to soak this up too? Stay here and shake hands with the old friends and relive.
I'd like to see
great victory for him.
See how high Bill Fleming could jump right now.
Oh, I bet he's watching.
On the 45, first down. And we're getting now a flood of substitutes for the Michigan Wolverines. And we'll try to run them down as best we can. But I think everybody in the blue shirt's going to get to play in the ball game today. And they had a number 20 in there at quarterback, and I'm still trying to figure out who he is. Clock winding down with a minute to go.
Could be Hewlett.
No, it wouldn't be Hewlett. Unless he changed the shirt. Michigan starting this possession just inside the 45 and just grinding up the clock now. The executive producer of ABC Sports is Roone Arledge. Today's coverage produced here at Michigan Stadium by Chuck Howard and directed by Andy Sedaris. Our technical director is John Allen. Our associate director, Ben Harvey. Our technical manager, Bob Armbruster. Our unit manager, Steve Israel. Assistant to producer, Garland Pete. Researcher, Jerry Klein. And our statistician, Mike Swanson. That's Brad Fisher, number 20 in the ball game. We finally found him. Brad Fisher. Well, they suited up 107. Might as well play as many as you can.
Good for morale. Get them in the ball game. They can say they played against Notre Dame, even the walk-ons.
That's right. You hear the crowd counting. Coming onto the field.